Okay, and here we are, live once again. And let's make sure everything is all right as we start another shortwave show. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Let's change that here. Move that over here. And here we are. Hey everyone. Nice to have all of you on board for another shortwave show. Hey everybody, welcome aboard. This is the Shortwave Radio Show. This is the Friday edition, and we are October 6th, 2017. And this is the show that we have every Fridays, 2000 hours UTC. No subjects today. Tuning the bands. We're going to go through, if you guys hear signals and want to share and want me to try something, tell me. I'm going to go there. I will tune around. You guys can also compare. Can you receive what I'm getting here? It's going to be like one of those good old tuning the bands mostly, but of course with answering questions and just having plain fun. And of course, this is a lot of fun. And we are going to have, of course, another radio fun time. So welcome everybody in the chat rooms, the IRC chat, SG2 East Nebraska, nice to have you here. Calvin, 29, nice to have you here. Richard Cook, Francisco Brattini, I cannot decode DRM. My signal to noise ratio is too high. So I get the info about the station. For example, it's going to tell me Radio Romania, but I got no audio. It can't complete. That's why the RM is kind of crap. Casey Red Dragon, hey there. Neil Toombs, nice to have you here. M0CJM in the UK. Dan805, yay. Nice to have you here. TOT, please don't put that antenna alone. It's very important to be safe. Anything that has to do with something that gets a little complex and, you know, and anyways, for that type of thing, you need friends. You need people around you that can, you know, hand you the tools and just help you around. And it's a fun gang project. So I have some friends over, pizza, a few beers, and well, no beers before the antenna. After the antenna is up, the beers and the pizza. And pretty cool. Hey MDK2, nice to have you here. Bobby Burgess, nice to have you on board. Kind of interesting. So it works with the OTG cable on your tablet, but does not work on your phone. Oh, interesting. Ethan Best, hey there. Syrian Wello, hello, nice to have you on board. The Vaults, nice to have you here. What else do we have? What else do we have? Sean Fahy, nice to have you on board. Tyler Salisbury, unfortunately they will probably miss most of the show. Nice to have all of you here. What else do we have? Nick Amendel from Romania, nice to have you here. Am I missing out on anybody? Say hi, please. It's nice to see you on board. MDK2's got our Radio Exterior de España, 17855. And here we have the mascot, Mr. Paul the Cat, saying hi to everybody. And of course, hearing me talk is always something. We're sleeping, and I heard me talk, says I gotta go see what's there. Hey, little kid, what's this? There's a little something on his ear, and I don't know what it is, but it's very bizarre. So anyways, I'm going to try to take that off. So hey, little cat is here saying hello to everyone. And nice to have all of you here. Of course, so who else is on board? What else? So Dave Toth, nice to have you here. 11 meter calling frequency, yes. That's where I was. I heard something about an hour ago. So propagation might actually be good enough to reach in the 10 meter band even. You know, we've been having solar flux of SG2 East Nebraska shared solar flux of 85 K2, not too bad. 60 Fahrenheit and cloudy there, raining. Here it's a beautiful day, about 60, around 17, 16 degrees Celsius. Perfect, you know, fall day. 3830 Radio Man, hey there. Rob Webster, Buster Brown, nice to have you here. WA9204 SWL, hey there, greetings, nice to have you here. From Illinois, Daniel Walsh, really nice to have you here. Are broomstick rigs any good? Hi all, happy Friday everybody, absolutely. Thank God it's Friday, as we say very often. What else do we have here? Mike DX, good evening. Nice to have you here. SG2 East Nebraska says 17855, pretty good where he is. Let me just check it out. I'm going to try to tune in, even though Mr. Paul the Cat is kind of making it hard. So 17855, enter. Pretty good. This is Radio Exterior de España. Okay, no more music for copyright infringement reasons. Nice to have you here, everybody. What else do we have? Eaton Best, so hello. Brampy, salut mon ami. Nice to have you here. VA2XE, VA2XE. Pretty cool. Nice to have you here. Everybody's saying hello to DX. Hey, little kitty. What else do we have? MDK2 says I got Radio Kuwait to the code on Monday of last week. The conditions were fabulous. Unfortunately, it was their Arabic language service on 13650. Yeah. One day this summer was really, really strong, and I thought I could put it off. So I put the DRM mode. I started Dream. It could ID. It was telling me, yeah, Radio Kuwait. The ID was there, everything, except no audio. The signal to noise ratio. It's missing one little thing. I need to try it out, but from an area where there's no noise, and try to decode it. Next time I go to Perry Island, I'll try to focus on a few DRM signals. It's much more quiet there. Maybe I would be able to pull it off somehow by bringing the Freddy SDR with me. So we'll try that for sure. KC Red Dragon, SSTV. We'll try some SSTV, absolutely. We'll try everything, if anything is possible, of course. Mickey Delmage, nice to have you here. Really good conditions today, says 9894.7. He's got, with the usual, very little audio. Nice to have you here from Alberta. It's Alberta, right? I think. I don't want to mix up the provinces. Jerry DX, nice to have you here. And are we at solar minimum yet? No, it's still, solar minimum is stated to be around 2019. So we're kind of more than a year away. 2019, 2020. That is the prediction right now. What is interesting, by the way, about the solar activity right now is we just had a really high period of solar activity for the past month, and that big sunspot that had the X flares and everything. And it's actually puzzling scientists a little bit, because we do have, big sunspots and the declining phase. We do have periods of higher solar activity. But having a solar flare that actually was the biggest solar flare of solar cycle 24, as we're so close to the bottom, kind of surprised a lot of people. But I guess, that's the sun. The sun is, we know some about the sun. We know some things. There are things we can predict a little bit. There's a lot of things that we just can't also. So, Paul the Cat doesn't like it that I'm moving my hand. He's trying to bite me now, saying, hey, stop moving that hand. It's still a couple of years for solar minimum, basically. We're not there yet. What else do we have? Richard says something on 98.95 sounds like you're on. So what else do we have? F. Blassie from Oakland, California. Nice to have everybody on board. Robert Sutherland. Hey, nice to have you here. And the best one also that is when it's on, it's apparently the best try for DRM is 15120 when Voice of Nigeria is there, because it's a very, very low bit rate. So even if you have difficulty with DRM, that one usually you can do it even in a higher noise level. I have to try that one. I'd like to score my first DRM signal But I'll try a few things. I'll go to the park if I need to and try to find a lower noise level and just do something there. PLF Radio from France says, when was the last solar minimum? It was a very wide solar minimum. We were in a the solar minimum, last solar minimum lasted way longer than usual. And basically it was, the last solar minimum was around 2010. It's a very, very broad minimum. I mean, we had low solar activity for a very long time. It lasted many years, longer than usual. We were kind of hoping that at some point the sun will pick up. And then it started picking up with the solar cycle 24. And, these are things we don't understand, because you got to remember one thing is that the solar cycle is an average of 11 years. So basically, he's getting bored by solar cycle. So basically, it's an average of 11 years. But it can last up to, the longest cycle I've seen, I think, was like 18 years. And the shortest solar cycle I've seen was something like 6 years. And it gives an average of 11. So it's not, fixed on the rock. It's not a cycle that's really, exactly that pace all the time. It's very, very interesting the way it works. Two Hands on the Radio, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Daniel 05 says, I've been lately hearing AM medium wave stations from Toronto. Cool. It was a talk station in French. It could be the CBC. I hear the French CBC from Toronto quite well on the medium wave bands. Morrison AV, nice to have you here. Val says, wonder if next cycle will be even weaker than this one. They seem to be getting weaker and weaker. There's kind of a... the last documentary that I've seen about solar cycle 24, the latest solar cycle we are at, and the future of cycles, does seem to point out that the next cycle would be smaller than the one we have now, which is crazy, because this one we just had is the smallest cycle in 100 years. So, and what they are saying is, when they are looking at the magnetic, they take like these kind of 3D pictures of the internal of the sun using the sound waves. The sun creates kind of a sound wave that goes through it, and they've been using some satellites to look at the vibration that it creates, and they've been able to kind of make a 3D view of a big chunk of the sun. And what they seem to say is that all the energy of the rotation, because basically solar cycles are driven by the rotation of the sun with the magnetic field getting entangled, because the pole and the equator doesn't turn at the same speed. So the magnetic field stretches like an elastic band, and they cross and they stretch and they break, and that makes the ups and downs of our solar cycle and creates the sunspots you see. And basically what they've been seeing with that type of imagery is that the internal magnetic field of the sun is actually weakening. It seems that the way the sun is right now in its rotation kind of makes it weaker. So they suspect that the next solar cycle, and even the one after, would be some of the smallest ever seen. Some people were mentioning the Maunder minimum, which is that big chunk of period where the solar cycle was almost, there were solar cycles. It's not a period, because some people put, there's no sunspots on that period. Yeah, there were sunspots. Don't believe the reports that say it was nothing. The Maunder minimum in the 1700s lasted roughly 50 years. It's not a no solar activity period. It's a much weaker than usual solar activity with weak cycles. So some people say, are we going to a Maunder minimum? Is that something that's happening with the sun right now? We don't really know. There's also another cycle, because there's the 11-year cycle, but there's the very, very there's a much bigger cycle that, we've started monitoring the solar cycles in the 1600s. So we now have, more than almost 400 years of sunspot and solar cycle data. Now, they also see a wider cycle. Within the 11-year cycle, there's a very big cycle. I don't remember how many years it is. And that one kind of helps us. They were saying if they just take that big cycle from the last time and put it on what's happening now, where we are at, it shows that we're going down, down, down to finally in like 30, 40 years from now, go back to some really big cycles. Another thing they've been noticing is that the cycles we've had in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and 80s and 90s seem to be some of the biggest cycles that we've seen in all of our 400 years of watching the sun. So we're wondering also, is it that the sun had a very intense moment in the past 100 years that is once every, you don't know, every 10,000 years? Is it something that will come back soon? We kind of are at a loss because we don't have enough data and enough information about the sun itself. So it's interesting, but pretty much everybody agrees that the next solar cycle will be weaker than the one we just had, which was the weakest in 100 years. So think about that. It's pretty crazy. Hey, Marissa Navy. Oh, they're almost done. I'm sending them. Promise. It's just I was looking for some unusual picture, but I've gathered the information. All I need to put is I want to personalize each e-card for the EQSLs. So don't worry about it. And cheers, by the way, somebody in the by email, Susan, that has checked in for. She said she hasn't been around for a very long time, and that is true. Wonders what I'm drinking. So I'm drinking à tout le monde, which means for everyone. Now I've got a mixed case this time again, and I bought the 12 pack. That story about that idiot cashier that doesn't know anything? Well, the stars were all placed for that today again. I took the case of beer. I went there. It beeped. It didn't scan. She looked at me and she said, "How much is it?" Now, below it was a $14.99 price, which wasn't that case of beer. So I thought, well, you know what? Last time the guy just went there, looked at what was written, and just said it was that. So I was like, what the hell? $14.99. That's what's under the case of beer. So she said, oh, okay, $14.99. But in reality, it's probably $22. But hey, why don't they scan? They just have to scan it. Why don't they do something about it? So nice to have you here. By the way, my friend Marissa Navy, Bram P says SDR Touch is full of problem. Mine works fine. It's just there's one thing about SDR Touch, Bram. It's the fact that SDR Touch is not well suited for small touch devices. It is really a lot of really complex to tune it correctly. It's probably made more for a tablet. So when you use it, like I use it on my Galaxy phone, I think it's the fact that the screen's very small makes it very difficult to use. SWL60N, nice to have you here. Okay, and yours crashes. Mine doesn't crash at all. So I don't know, it might be, what version of Android do you have on your tablet, Brad? Hey, Mr. Tom Stiles, Samrad88, nice to have you here. Local RF noise is very high now here in Florida. Trying to listen to Hurricane Watch on 40 meters. Yeah, there's that other hurricane in the I've seen something because they were talking about the fact that it might move up to Quebec and give us some rain next week. So what else do we have? Dave Thought, nice to have you here. What else do we have? John Young, good news. Brother Stair is being investigated for child molestation again. That guy is. I always found that what I was telling a friend of mine is that all the people that want to show they are the most pure and perfect person in the world are usually the ones with the worst life and the worst, the things that a human can do. It's often like that. James Megawatt, hey there, nice to have you here. Rich in Atlanta, Georgia, nice to have you here. How does your discount antenna compare to your mobile vertical? Well, until now, I feel like just keeping the mobile vertical. It doesn't really, I don't know. Fastlow told me that he didn't have good performance with it. And I thought, well, maybe it's the coax, maybe it's the setup. But now that I've installed it, I tend to agree that it's not great compared. My mobile vertical is as good, if not better, which makes me kind of think, wow. So, Tim Brennan, nice to have you here. Will the upcoming cycle make shortwave listening quieter? Solar cycle, of course, is some solar noise induced in the shortwave bands, but the effect of the shortwave of solar activity and the noise level of the band is very limited. So there really will not be much difference at all, basically. So no problem, Bobby Burgess. So have fun at that. Chinese restaurant. I haven't been to a Chinese restaurant in a long time. You're giving me an idea here. So basically. Oh, really? That's weird. It's weird that it's gone away. I don't understand what happened to your Windows Media Player. It was wild. Dave Todd says wild in the 89, 90 propagation. All the 80s and the 90s. I mean, I remember these solar cycles as just completely, but really totally crazy. And solar flux, the funniest thing is, in the last solar cycle, the highest solar flux I've seen, I think we've reached close to 200, 180, 200 at the highest point of the solar cycle 24 in the solar flux. The solar cycle before that, in the 90s and early 2000s, solar flux reached 350. That's a whopper, I can tell you that. Bram P. Okay, Android 5. Don't you have to... So, did you have to root your device for Android 5? I believe you have to root your device to install the driver. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. It's weird. Because I've tried it only on Android 6 and 7. And works well for me on both versions. Bram, by the way. So it's... Have I ever tried Uno SDR? Nope, never. Master Player 29, nice to have you here, by the way. And I believe, aka Bobby Burgess. Scott Robson, hey there, nice to be to see you on board. Persian Radio Fan says hi. Will you please update us a bit on DRM? How does it work? How prevalent is it nowadays? Okay, DRM, and don't take me wrong on this, because a lot of people say, well, you're just a DRM hater, and no, I'm not at all. And not only am I not a DRM hater or a digital mode hater at all, I'm actually on the other side. I like new technologies. The problem with DRM, first of all, look, I'll have a DRM signal that's really strong, but because of the noise with it, the slight noise that I have, it can't even decode, which just shows you how crappy DRM is. as a digital mode for decoding anything. That's why I do not believe and will never buy a radio that is DRM only. I believe DRM should have its own frequency range and stop interfering with the regular broadcasts in the international broadcast bands, because it's very large. It does interfere with everything around it. That should have been done. They should have had these frequency ranges just for DRM. How prevalent it is, there's less DRM today than it was a few years ago. I think a lot of stations are just noticing, you know what, that's kind of a mode that nobody listens to. And I'm sorry, but apart from well-equipped people with computers and low noise levels, DRM is not listened by anyone. And most radios, and the last thing about that, most radios basically that around the world are analog. And you know what, shortwave, except for us that we are in a different radio sphere, we spend more money than the average person on the radio. One of the things you got to remember here is that 90% of the world is on cheap portable radios that they are not going to change for DRM, because they don't even have the money to buy anyway those. And I think somebody somewhere tried to sell DRM. Somebody somewhere made a lot of money on trying to sell DRM to everybody. But I think it's a lost cause, and I think there are new things that could be today a much better idea than DRM is right now. And let's not forget, DRM is starting to get old. It's been implemented a long time ago, so the DRM itself is getting it's an old digital mode now, and I think that it's unfortunately not a good thing. Yeah, I did that, Jerry. I got your link. Actually, I what I've done, Jerry, I've flagged your name in my phone with the Outlook app. So when you send me something, it pops a little notification so I can check it out. And when I see something that is interesting, I just click on it and look at it. But effectively, I was checking that out. So sad what happened in Las Vegas. 3 Canadians, I think, were killed in there, by the way. Pretty crazy. Solar Flux 85, yep. Scott Robson, absolutely. And I need to check all of that. So, basically, another hater purist. Voss says, are the guys who transmit are picking very optimistic encoding settings. I'm sure it was something like 8 kilobits, 11 kilohertz. It might be much easier to decode. Yeah, that's why the Voice of Nigeria one is pretty much almost what everybody decodes, because it's a very low bit rate. So basically, that one, even if it's a little noisy, will work better than the really high quality ones. It's just crazy. I mean, come on, if you can't do it with equipment like this, how the hell are you going to do it with a little portable radio? I don't know. Robert Babcock, nice to have you. Good evening, nice to have you here. And it's pretty cool to have everybody here. So, interesting. I don't have any problem here with my, I see that, I know there's buffering happening for you guys, because I see that when the count of viewers goes down, it tells me there's something. But it's interesting because here everything is green, so there's nothing I can do. It's very, very weird. So it's very very weird. Everything is green and everything is on the right side here, so it's really bizarre. So let's do a little test. Here, I've just just stopped the stream for a second and restarted the stream, so I don't know if it maybe fixes things for you guys. So, but I think it's YouTube, because here it's all right. Here I've got an upload. I can tell you guys how many kilobits per second I'm uploading right now, which averages 4 megabytes a second. So that is, my upload is really, really good. So I guess YouTube somewhere has some issues with that. I can tell you that. Really very, very bizarre. Now, but I see it when it goes down, but it's YouTube. It's really YouTube that's happening. So something's happening with YouTube. Sorry guys about that. Got nothing I can do about it. Simon Smith, nice to have you here. Edward Johnson, nice to have you here. And it's pretty cool. And basically just crazy. You know, we need at some point some kind of really good and more interesting stream that maybe, you know, I'd have to try it. You know, I'd have to try streaming with other services. Maybe try streaming with Twitch, and it's weird, really weird. Chef Maga, I am on Ethernet. I am not using Wi-Fi here, so it's I never use Wi-Fi for the live streams. It's really crazy. Yeah, 11690 for our Radio New Zealand. I don't think at this time of day I can receive it really. But anyways, I won't have that possibility. Well, there's nothing there anyways. So you know. Hey Mohammed Habdik, nice to have you here. And hey, by the way, Mohammed, don't answer back to that idiot on the other channel, because he's well, it's important. Well, it's not the place to talk about that, Mohammed, but it's simply because we will have a cumulative update or something that 16299.15 will change. We're probably going to have 16299 dot something else in the next week. So that's why. And there's the skip ahead builds possibility. Okay, and so let's go back to radio and talk about radio. We're here for radio. Yeah, Scott, I have a Windows Insider channel where I have Windows Insider live shows. So that's why, that's what I'm talking about, other channel. So anyways, you know, things are looking kind of interesting for the solar cycle and with all that's happening. So unfortunately, it's really, really something very it's just you know, crazy thinking about lower solar cycles in the future. So nope, there won't be any more watermark, Mohammed. And anyways, we'll talk about that on the other channel, on the Insider channel, Mohammed, okay? This is really, really radio related here. Okay. So we're going to tune the bands a little bit today. Just before we start, I'm going to do a little self-promotion. If you wish to help me out, remember that you can help me out with PayPal, paypal.me/shortwave. This is where you can send me a little something if you want to help me out. Really, really helps me a lot. You guys have no idea. And you can also join my 12 patrons at patreon.com/radio and computers, where you can, of course, give me a little something. And it's really appreciated. Helps me really, you know, continuing what I'm doing. And thanks everyone that have donated. You guys have been generous and very, very welcome. An example of why donations are sometimes needed. This laptop's hard drive failed, and I had to buy a new hard drive to replace it because I absolutely needed to do the live stuff. And we never know when equipment can go away. I'm also looking at buying more lighting, doing a lot of changes. So it's the donations that help me purchase all of this in order to continue into the future. Somebody asked me on the Windows channel, oh, you were talking that 2017 would be the make or break year. Well, one thing for sure is that we are going to continue in 2018. I'm making just enough to pay the bills and to continue everything. So we're going to continue doing the live shows in 2018. Let's cross our fingers. In the past 2 months, AdSense has been slightly better. AdSense is what drives YouTube monetization, and for the past 5 years, 6 years, it's been down all the time. Well, it's actually been a little better in the past 2 months, and let's really make it so that it gets let's hope that it's going to make it a little better and give a little more money for sure. What else do we have? What's the best radio you have or have? Well, I've got an Icom ICR 8500 tabletop, which is the best. Yeah, you know what? The office, the biggest problem in the office is the office. And I really need to change the office. But the problem is, it's such a big enterprise that half of it is redesigned a little bit now. But I need to really decide a little more, because it's just crazy what I have to do in that office, and I'm a little short on time. And sometimes there are things you need to really you need to have more money than you have. So it's coming there, but I'll have to, because basically in January there's probably going to be somebody else here all the time. That means I'll have to do them always. Every show and everything I do will need to be done in the office. So by Christmas and New Year, I'll have to finish that and make sure that all the shows are there. I've got a 32-inch HD TV that will be positioned in my office this week. It's a used TV, but it works perfectly, and so it's been offered to me by a friend of mine. So he's going to bring me that over. It's a Sony TV. So I thought, okay, cool. When you can bring the TV over, it's going to be another part of the office, and everything's going to be done there. And I won't have to do anything. Also in the office, by the way, if I do it there, what's going to be really nice is the fact that it's the lighting system will always be positioned perfectly. So it's going to be really crazy. And I still need to paint. And I'm a sucker I hate painting like crazy. So, I've been putting it off all the time. But, I'll have to paint, and I really need to paint everything. So I got to really remove everything for sure. That's also something else. So, why not brown? Maybe. But I don't like to have people go crazy. And help me out. I rather not ask too much about other people helping out. But who knows? So Mohammed, it happens. He's been spamming. By the way, that guy has been spamming for a long time. He comes back from time to time, and clearly hates me like crazy. I can tell you that. So. But here when we rent, we have to pay and paint ourselves in Canada vaults. The landlord does not paint for you. So I have to paint, basically. So even if you rent. So Jerry says, I can't stand painting. I'd rather shovel snow than painting. Same here. I'd rather shovel snow than paint also. So basically, Yeah, I did see it at the beginning, Bobby, that the OTG cable that works on your tablet, not on your phone. Could be hardware related. Could be hardware related with your phone also. Hey, Orlando Hen, nice to have you on board from Sydneypolis. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Always nice to have. What color? The office will be blue, light blue. I want to have the light blue walls with a white ceiling. The living room will be white. The bedroom will be light green with a white ceiling, and the kitchen will be just white. But I hate painting. It's just crazy. It's one of the things I hate the most in life. So, and with all the shows that I do and everything, painting is a difficult job, and plus the fact that I have a few days at Microsoft, if I have to paint, I'll be painting at weird hours. And painting in the living room or the kitchen or the bedroom is not too bad. The worst will be the office because there's a lot of stuff in there. I can tell you that. So. Yeah, but I don't. There's no problem with that, Valtz. It's going to work out. It's going to be light blue. It's not going to be dark blue. It's really going to be light blue, and because it's already kind of bluish already. So yeah. Well, that's the thing, Orlando. I've painted here the last time 15 years ago. Tells you that I need to paint, and it's getting urgent. So anyways, okay, Microsoft job's going very well. They've made me go there a little more than I wanted. So there's the days that they're already decided, like Mondays and Wednesdays, but there's also evenings. Like for example, they've been starting telling me, well, you got live shows that, what time does it end? Well, my live show on Thursday ends at the latest 5 p.m. Well, what about, 6 to 10 or 11 or so? They're kind of working me out to go there a little more. So anyways, we'll check it out. But it's going well, and I actually like it. It's and you know what? I one of the things that I noticed that I was deeply missing over the years, because I didn't work for a company for 20 years almost now, and I was a solitary self-employed guy, tech jobs, at least tech jobs you meet people, but doing this, except for the chat room full of people, there's no one in front of me, and making YouTube videos all day long is this very solitary thing. I did notice one thing, is that I do like the fact that I am with a team suddenly. And I noticed that it's something that was missing. I am a social guy, so everywhere I worked was always very social in the way I interacted with the people. And so now it's kind of cool because, the social side and work side come together. So, Bram, I'm a team leader for a special project and that I cannot talk about. So it's kind of cool. And it's a cool project, is all I can say. And at some point I'll be able to talk about it, because at some point it's probably going to leak out somewhere in the world. And that day I'll be able to talk about it a little more. So, okay. What else do we have? Stacy Dubist. Hey there. Going to fixing is Kuka's KRC2 SR robot controller. Okay. Lou Rubens. Nice to have you here, Tampa Bay, Florida. And thanks, Lou. So anyways, we're going to tune a little bit the bands. What about it, guys? Let's check out... where are we going to start? Let's start at 20 megahertz. I was hearing WWV. Is it still there? So WWV. Yep. I still hear WWV on 20 megahertz right now. So making it right here, 20 megahertz. By the way, I've been hearing WWV 25 megahertz also this week. So you know, it goes with the the equinox and the fact that we're going into the winter propagation. Things are really changing around, and you see that the frequency ranges that you could hear sometimes come back. So 20 megahertz, almost didn't hear 20 megahertz for a long time, and in the past 2 weeks it's been pretty much a regular in the afternoon now, and this week 25. I'm going to try 25 now, but I don't know if it's going to be there. There's nothing right now on 25, but 20 megahertz is making it, so pretty cool. And somebody's going to cut there's a lawnmower going on somewhere. So anyways, there we go. This is the beep time for UTC. I'm just going to close the door because of the lawnmower noise. Sorry guys. Just a little crazy. It's the neighbor. The neighbor is mowing the lawn. So, sorry guys. Okay. A little less noise here. So 20 megahertz, I've got WWV. Pretty interesting. Let's check out what else we have. Let's go to 18168. Let's check the 17 meter band amateur radio. Anything there? Nothing much here. There's some JT68 stuff. Nothing much more. Okay, we'll move it down to the 16 meter band. Pretty good signal coming from Spain, 17855.
Equipos importantes pueden estar fuera incluso de la repesca. Ojito, ¿eh?
Eso te iba a decir. Yo creo que da valor a todo lo que está haciendo España en estos últimos años y a lo que hemos visto construir hoy. Es difícil, cada vez más difícil ganar, todo está súper igualado y estas muestras que Argentina, que fíjate que Argentina la salvó que perdió.
What else do we have? 17715, also Spain. Hey there, William Helms. Nice to have you on board, by the way, from Florida. Richard Cook says 16 meters dead there. Well, you're in the darkness, Pat, so pretty much, eh? Here it's the sun sets in about an hour and a half, a little more than an hour and a half. What else do we have here? It's weak, but I believe this is African Pathways. 17640 is African Pathways radio. Let me just check that out here. EIBI space. And let's check the frequency. There we go. Boop. 17640. Yep, at this time it's African Pathways Radio from Madagascar. This one's weak, but the one at 1800 is amazing. It's actually a nice mix. You know what, by the way? African Pathways Radio from Madagascar World Voice in Madagascar is an interesting mix. You know, it's one of those, what we were talking, I think, last time or the time before, religious broadcasts. For some reason, the way that they bring it, you know, the way that they talk about the religion and the way that things are happening, it's actually interesting to listen to with the mix of music and everything. Neil Toom says nothing on 17715. Let's go down and see if there's anything else here. Let's check out with the regular little lines. Nothing much. Let's jump over 16. So say 15825. Very weak something, which is probably WWCR usually. What else do we have? Not much happening. WWN on 15610.
Not out of empowerment. No, absolutely. There is.
Yeah, 15825 is WWCR. Oh, really, Mickey? So you're getting 617.640 much better than me. Cool. The one on at 1800 is amazing. At 1800 UT, Madagascar World Voice is really cool. Really nice. Hey, Mr. Paul the Cat, he's back. Hey, Michael Punk, it's nice to have you here, as usual. So Richard is receiving 15610, so it's pretty cool. Okay, what else do we have? Paul the Cat is looking at me. I hope his little friend outside didn't steal his food. So what else do we have? Anything here? Spain 15520. Richard in Atlanta says 15640. S7. You mean 17640, Richard? Oh, 15610. Okay. WWN. Spain on 15520. And I will go see what Mr. Paul the Cat wants. Sorry, guys.
Del pasado verano, que sigue teniendo esa calidad enorme. Bueno, este fin de semana, gracias Juanma, no tenemos fútbol en primera división, pero sí en segunda. Mañana comienza la octava jornada y lo hace con qué partido. A partir de las 4 de la tarde se juega el Sporting de Gijón con Liga C. A las 6, 2 partidos, Almería Huesca y a las 8 se juega el Tenerife Racing y a las 8:30 se cierra la jornada de mañana con el que el fin de semana es con la Fórmula 1.
So, we are back. Interesting, every time I pass in front of the desktop, signal cuts for some reason. So, what else do we have? Stacey Davis says, God transmits on all frequencies and they look. Yeah, yes, God is very popular on shortwave. We have to say it. I'm gonna actually pick myself another beer, and this one is Ephemer, and this is a fruit-flavored beer. I don't usually like them much, but these are actually not bad. As I am, smells good. I am trying out a mixed case of different types of beer in our show today. So cheers, everybody. Nice to have you on board as usual. So what else do we have here? Michael's got 4625, the buzzer, very strong in Sweden. Really often making it very around there in Europe a lot, basically. So what else do we have? Vol says, beer is beer flavored, otherwise it's anything else but beer. Well, it's a beer with, they make the beer mix with some real fruits at that brewery. So it's a beer, but it's flavored with some fruit. And I'm just gonna check what Suro is in English, because it's Suro elderberry. So it's a elderberry flavored beer. I didn't know, and I didn't even know elderberry what existed. So Suro is elderberry flavored beer. So that's what I'm drinking now, basically. Not really a Vaults. It's a surprising mix, I can tell you that. But of course, if I want a beer, I don't usually take beers that are flavored. Bram says, does Paul drink beer? Nope. Okay. Richard Cook's receiving 13845, which is WWCR, by the way. What else do we have in the 19-meter band? Anything else? Lima Villas, hi from France. Bonjour, bienvenue. Nice to have everybody on board. What else on the band as we go lower? This is a big noise. Anything interesting here? Something weird, weak on 15160, 15190, but can't really make it out. So let's check out. There's a 20-meter band open. Anything in the 20-meter band with amateur radio activity? Let's check it out. I don't see a lot except the interference that is very heavy. Let's just do it like this. Nothing much except some FT8 and JT65. There's a lot of that. Something here, but it's not very strong. You see that the propagation is really changing a lot. 13845 WWCR is here.
I could analyze your business with this. You could analyze yourself. The who? Personnel. Clientele. Patrons.
So, ceci c'est HDSDR et ça fonctionne avec un SDR qui est un affédri et qui est un SDR de onde courte, seulement de 100 kHz jusqu'à 30 MHz, Lima. So, hey, take care, our friend Bobby, WA5107SWL. And Tough Cookie 108, VA2SFN à l'écoute. VA2SFN, nice to have you here. Cool, pretty cool. Nice to have some French language and some nice local viewers also. Welsh Monitor, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Where are you from, Welsh Monitor? With a name like that, I'll say UK, but let's not jump to conclusions. So 13845 is WWCR, Nashville, Tennessee. What else do we have? There's a slight something on 13740, which is usually Cuba. Very weak here. Let's check out what we have here. Anything special in here? So 13 megahertz. Nothing much. Nothing much. Stanag, some more Stanag here. Checking out what we can get. And we are getting to the 25-meter band. First signal encountered is BBC World Service from Ascension Islands on 12095 right now. From South Wales in the UK, thank you, Welsh Monitor. Really nice. So, Cesar Dubis says, that's it. I'm getting one of those Cornish stouts. Germany is famous for making flute-flavored and sweet beers. By the way, good health. Yeah, good health, everyone. Yeah, it all depends, you know, Faults. I think that there's the same purists on beer as there's purists on those that think, using an SDR is, of course, not shortwave. You know. Andre Wisok, nice to have you here, says, what would you say is the strangest thing you ever heard on shortwave? Strangest. Some of the most unusual stuff I've heard over time. It all goes with, and you got to remember one thing, it all goes with the fact that it depends on the period of time when I was listening to shortwave. So for example, when I was 14 discovering shortwave, my idea of what was weird, it was very different. So some of these bells and whistles and weird sounds were bizarre. Then you've got all these transmissions from different languages that pop up anywhere that you just don't know what they are. But unusual broadcasts or things that I've heard were, for example, the Coast Guard off the east coast of the United States saving people while they were actually on a boat that was on fire. There's, of course, Orlando N has one. Number stations. Some of the older number stations with these little weird, creepy sounds and songs were pretty bizarre, I have to say. So there's a lot of things, and I think a lot of what's happening now is there's a lot of weird things. There's still a lot of weird stuff to listen to, I can tell you that. Michael says 80-meter band's very active in Sweden. Gary Seward, nice to have you here from the UK, Gary. Pretty cool. So, okay, you don't know how to adjust the S meter. Yeah, there's a lot of things, and I need to take the time to study it more and do videos, because every video that I made to change and modify some of the things in there in the HD SDR and SDR Sharp, by the way, a lot of people love them, because I think a lot of newbies that come to the SDR world are a little mystified by all the things that software can do. And these things are complex. I mean, there's so much things you can do, so much little things you can tweak, you can change. So, I need to take the time to do more of these videos, because they're really popular. A lot of people like them, and it's really nice. So 12095, BBC World Service coming in from the Ascension Islands in the South Atlantic Ocean.
Another of Catalonia's biggest losses, CaixaBank, has decided to move its legal headquarters as it seeks to integrate as news funders associated with the possible Catalan collection of independence. Following the announcement of the government decree making it easier for companies to relocate. Madrid is very much yesterday started a bank that is one of Catalonia's biggest, but Spain's biggest banks, so the movies registered.
The BBC 12095 from Ascension Islands. We have WWN in Spanish on 12050. Hey there, Mad Radio DXer. Nice to have you on board, by the way. WEWN Spanish 12050 from United States.
La segunda señal del pontífice se refiere a la necesidad de una gobernanza multilateral encaminada a la búsqueda de internacional e inspirada en el principio de subsidiariedad y el respeto de la dignidad de cada persona humana. Tampoco podemos permanecer indiferentes por el Papa ante la pérdida de los arrecifes.
WWN. Daniel Wash says 11608, not sure what it is. 11608. Let's hear. It's actually 610, what I have. And 11610, I believe, is the Madagascar World Voice 11610. Yep, 2122. Madagascar World Voice, the Light of Life in Mandarin to Western Europe. This is from Madagascar right now on 11610. So nice catch, actually. So basically. Yeah, well, John Todd, it's WEWN. It's the U.S. station. It's a Catholic station in the United States. Same thing. John. And welcome aboard, by the way. So, Blasty says, I got a QSL from BBC Relay in Oman many years ago. Anybody know if the BBC still QSLs? We were asking that a few months back. NDK2 says 11610 booming in Denver. Sean Fay, off to bed, take care. Always nice to have you on board, by the way. Lima Vlas says good reception. What is my antenna? I have a 22 meter long sloper antenna. Orientation is east-west, and that's what I use for radio listening. So let's go back up to 12050, that Catholic station. Rich in Atlanta says 11610 S6. 11640, it should be 11635. Yeah, 11635 for the Cuban numbers here. I hear it a little bit. Cuban numbers on 11635, Jerry. So, Madrid DX says it would be good to know if BBC QSL has recently received their new Korean service in the UK. Ricky Dalmash says 9445 All India Radio in English, fair and good. Let's check it out here. Yeah, not bad. Look at that, All India Radio 9445. Let's try 7550. Weaker on 7550. So All India Radio 9445 in English.
Pakistan under sanctuary separated troops and major source to be discovered in last month the Pakistan begun and said with reasserted silence Washington. After a meeting with U.S. Vice President Mike Pence on the sidelines of UN General Assembly, Pakistan Prime Minister Sajid Hassan Bhatti had said in carrying forward the war. At the same time, Mr. Abati had also claimed that terrorist activities had witnessed a sharp decline in his country in recent months. The main reason for that was that a big terrorist.
So All India Radio, look at that INA sound that just went through to check out the maximum usable frequency. Pretty cool. Neil Toom says 9445 full quieting, so pretty cool. Richard heard the moaner the other day. That's creepy. Talking about creepy, the moaning going on some of the Stare broadcasts, pretty creepy. I would put that, like on Halloween night, the moaning station. That'd be a good audio track, outside while the trick-or-treaters go around on Halloween. So that's creepy. That's pretty creepy. So, what else do we have here? PLF Radio in France says 9445, good reception for him. Cool. Richard Cook says both frequencies are good there. Nice. As we'll get into winter, 9445 here in Montreal will slowly fade away. But 7550 will get stronger as there will be more darkness back between India and Montreal, especially at this time. In December at this time it's going to be dark already, so it's going to be different. Always nice to hear All India Radio. And their very unusual Indian music is particularly interesting to listen to. So, Jerry's, okay, Richard's got WBC QNC Uni 490, 7490. It's not very strong, but it's there, barely there. Jerry's got a bunch of weird digital audio the other day, sounded like SSTV on 14265. Oh, interesting. You know, I've heard sometimes some digital modes in other places than the frequencies they're meant to be. And remember that it's not a official requirement. You know, these frequencies that are devised as, you know, this is digital, this is upper sideband, lower sideband, whatever. They are general rules, but you're not, you know, breaking the law by transmitting a digital mode on 14265. So maybe sometimes some people just say, hey, what the hell? Let's do it here. I want to do it here. I can tell you that. Oh, that sounds so bad, Vaults. I will not say it on live because it's just so bad. But man, this is crazy. And you know, that guy has been in trouble with the law for years, and it's just stupid. You know, when you think about it, it's just dumb. You know, it's just you know, let's not even waste a lot of time talking about that idiot. So let's go back to 12050. I'm going to go down slowly again and see what else is there. On 11930 is Radio Marti. This station is from the United States. It is the station broadcasting to Cuba in Spanish.
Tenemos claro que Cuba ha sido el núcleo originario de muchos de estos explantes. Vamos a llamarlo República.
Richard Cook's got 7415. Let's check it out. Very weak. Usually here at this time, 7285 is the frequency. So 7285, China Radio International in English from Albania transmitter site.
To be digital in the way of how I pay for stuff, with Alipay, CowBell, different stuff. So digital payment, digital content, these kind of things are becoming how we live our lives. So obviously these kind of paying for knowledge or paying for these kind of things is something I think makes sense. And then also, logistically, if I wanted to listen to somebody that I very much respected give a speech, but I live so far away from them.
So we have Richard Cook says 11930 a bit weak. PLF Radio getting 7415, pretty good. You should be hearing PLF Radio. A lot of what Richard is Cookrick 555 is receiving, as you're not that far from one another. I mean, you're in France, he's in the UK. For shortwave close vicinity, should receive a lot of the same things. 11930. Let's continue going down. Yeah, so he's going to sleep a sleep of death. I'm not going to even mention. Very weak, but there's the BBC on 11810. Let's move that here a little bit. Anything else? Let's go down there. I don't know if you heard the cat, but that was the cat. What do you want, man? I'm in a live show. I gotta do this if I want to buy you food. You don't understand that? He doesn't. He wants my full. Hey, Fastlow, nice to have you here. So, you know. Yeah, that frequency. Brian Iowa, nice to have you here. Yeah, 7200 kilohertz lower sideband is horrible. It's like just crazy. Crazy. It's a shame for the amateur radio community, I can tell you that. William Helms says, anyone get 11980 late a couple of nights ago? Was listening with 58-inch and fed mono on the TVDO L258. Believe it was a slight edge over. on overloading. 11980. What time was it? Do you have any time period? What UTC time? So let's check that out. Scott Rodson says Pirates up on 6925, 6935. Let's go 6925. Not getting anything and not seeing nothing here on the waterfall for Pirates right now. So really nothing coming in right now in my neck of the woods. Check 11580.
Computer virus 15 done.
Computer virus 11580 is, I believe, RAE Argentina in German from WRMI. 11580, by the way. Yeah, 11825 here was Brother Stare via WRMI. Cosmic Lettuce, cheers, nice to have you here. So yeah, he doesn't meow very strongly usually. He it's just so funny. He's on the chair. I put up a chair here, and now he's on that chair. PLF Radio says 7285, very clear. And says, yep, it's pretty close. Hey, Ernie Turner, nice to have you on board. VK3DET from Down Under. Always nice to have all of you here. SWL 60N says RF5 Radio France in French 7205. Do I hear that? Let's check it out. 7205. Hearing something very, very, very weak. Honestly, very weak. So let's go down slowly. Check out the signals. By the way, I want to check out this. Okay. What else do we have? There's something here. Brief. Something here. What's that? Something here, which is probably aeronautical stuff. Let's check out 11.3. Yep. 11.330. Some aeronautical communications on 11.330 going on, I believe. Yeah, you know what, Ernie? I'm soon to leave DX, play with the radios, and just have DX and you guys interact with each other. What else do we have? Richard Cook 11580. Okay, Jerry's got the Pirate on 6935. Richard's got Talking on 7205. Hey, I'm Blair. Nice to have you here. Richard in Atlanta is receiving 6935 S4. Lima Vilas is 5505 Volmet. Yeah, that's the Shannon Volmet, I believe. Let's see if I can fetch it. It's still too early for Shannon Volmet. In an hour's time. Tio, it's not this year. It's slowly being phased out. So the aeronautical stuff with the shortwave bands is slowly being phased out. And it's something that, you know what, he looks like he's not happy that instead of actually taking the time for him, I am talking to somebody else. Come on. Come on. He wants to. Come on. Honey. He hesitated a little bit. Here. You want to do it? Come on. You know what's happening? I left the door in the back open. Maybe there's another cat that came in. Come on. Honey. Hate it when when he's just like, yeah, I'm not sure. So anyways, the aeronautical stuff is gradually being phased out. So it's not this year, but as time goes by, we'll hear less and less of it, to a point where there's going to be like zero, and we won't hear anymore. But right now, it's really active. I hear a lot of aeronautical communications coming through. I can tell you that. Jerry says 6943, some time of jammer. Huh, it's a Link 11. Yeah, it's not a jammer. It's Link 11. It's a type of digital link. I hear it from time to time also. It's very weak right now, but it's there. So, 3 a.m. Wow, middle of the night. Wow, I don't know. But I have to check that. Andrea DX says, create a channel for DX the cat and watch him have more subs than you. You know what? I wouldn't even be surprised with the amount of cat stuff. I was even thinking at some point that when I'm not doing anything, like, just putting cameras everywhere so you guys can look at DX the cat sleeping, moving around, jumping everywhere. I'm sure there's some people that want to watch that. If DX the cat brings me in $10,000 a month, no problem. You know what? I'll put cameras everywhere, and and make sure he's got like tons of toys and places he can jump over, and he'll have the fanciest of food for cats. So what else do we have? Continue here. Some JT65 on 10-136. 10-051. So we've got oh yeah, DX the cat channel, absolutely. PF radio. Ernie Turner says he definitely watched a DX show. Okay. Yeah, a lot of it's understandable a little bit because Mad Radio DXer says a lot of people mistake Stanag transmissions. They sound a lot of noise like, so a lot of people kind of think and jump to conclusions that it must be some kind of jammer. Oh, absolutely, Rich. Of course, if the if the aeronautical stuff goes away, the vomits will also be phased out. I think it all goes together, basically, which will be sad. It's kind of the things that I kind of like to tune around from time to time. So 10-051, Gander, Canada, Newfoundland, Canada, weather vomit. 5,500 yeah, I believe 10-136 is FT8. I think you're right, Vault.
15 miles, Q cloud, past 4,100, Q cloud, past 7,600, to 6,000 scattered, temperature 8, dew point -2. Repeating 210.
You know what? This reminds me of when I got my first shortwave radio when I was 13 years old. I was actually, it was the Realistic DX100, And maybe that could be a very interesting show. I was thinking the other day of doing a live show, tuning the bands, but with my first ever shortwave radio, the DX100, and see how I like it today, tuning around for a while. I think I'm going to go crazy before the end of the show. Man, Jerry DX says 6935 getting stronger. DK2, so no problem, my friend. Always nice to have you on board. There's a show tomorrow, by the way, 2000 hours UTC. Tomorrow there is a show. Hey there, Lima, in the IRC chat room. So tomorrow, 2000 hours UTC is a show. Don't forget about it. And once again, little self-promotion. If you want to see more of DX the Cat, if you want to see more of these shows, if you like what I do, paypal.me/shortwave. This, you can actually give me a little something, and of course it helps me continue. I do take a lot of time to create these shows. I take a lot of hours, in a week to do live shows all around, and these are fun to do, but they also require me to, of course, take a lot of my time. Please consider a donation if you can. It would really, really help me out. It does help me out a lot. Like I say, there's a lot of things. My main laptop had a hard drive fail. I had to buy a new hard drive this week. I had to buy some lighting. I had to buy, you have to buy constant things. Things don't last forever. Sometimes you got to upgrade the equipment. It's a lot of money. There are things I want to change, and that means, of course, that it requires some cash. And even though the past two months AdSense has been a little better than the average, it's still not quite enough. If I would make with AdSense enough money, I would never ask for money from anyone, as this is not what I want to do. And so paypal.me/shortwave, patreon.com/radio and computers. Can join my 12 patrons that give me a little something every month. And thank you for everybody that has donated. If you watch my shows regularly, never donated a little something, why not think about it? It's do you think it's worth it to have me doing these shows and help out and tune around the bands? And thank you for everybody that donates. Thank you very much. And don't forget, if you can donate, no problem there. Okay, I do understand. Hey, as we continue tuning the bands on this shortwave show, so yes, absolutely. Just want to say that there is a shortwave show tomorrow, 2000 hours UTC. I have yet to find a subject. I'm trying to think of a subject for tomorrow. I've been going around my mind today all day thinking about an aspect of shortwave or of radio that I've not really talked about. So it's probably going to come to my mind tomorrow morning, and I'm like, okay, today I want to talk about this or that. If I do not find a specific thing, I do have quite a number of questions, so it could be a Q&A tomorrow also, but it's all going to depend on what's going to happen. And being Saturday night, I thought you know what, Scott Robson, I was thinking a little bit about that, because we're getting into the that period of pirate listening with Halloween coming up and everything. So maybe I did think about revisiting pirate radio, and it's funny because every time I visit pirate radio subject, there's somehow some pirates that decide to rebroadcast. So really, really nice. Merci beaucoup, Lima. Toujours bienvenue. Demain, 20h, temps universel. Encore une autre émission, si vous êtes intéressé. Et merci beaucoup. Thanks for being here, Lima. Tough Cookie 128, thank you very much. Always nice to have all of you. So it could be. We'll see tomorrow. And that could be interesting. Talk about pirate radio. I was thinking maybe of talking about pirate radio and checking out the logs of the past few months. What were the main stations that were being heard, and see what, of course, what people have been picking up in the in the shortwave bands on pirate. So I think that could be an interesting one. Okay, so anyways, we'll see tomorrow. Richard Cook's got an extremely weak Pyongyang on 6400 with Morse code. Yeah, the Morse code is probably, well, no, 6400. Yeah, there must be something in Morse code close to it, probably. So yeah, Day 05, yay, a Saturday show, absolutely. And yeah, Wellbrook fundraiser, I was thinking about a few things also. I'm trying to mind myself to maybe do some kind of a fundraising page for a weekly broadcast on shortwave via WBCQ, WRMI. You know, some kind of fundraiser for that also. So there's a lot of things. Unfortunately, all of that costs money, which is the worst thing in the world. But unfortunately, we gotta have some. Edward Johnson, hey there, nice to have you here. Then notified some main stations are XFM, Wolverine Radio, Surat Radio. There's one that is also one has been there a lot lately. The Clever Name Radio. I've heard also the Radio Free Whatever station lately. I've heard Wolverine a couple of weeks, 3 weeks ago maybe. It's kind of interesting. Oh, that's interesting. You know, that could be something. You're bringing up a subject here, Stacy. I've never really done, you know, a show about the science of radio when it started, you know, things like that. That could, you know, that could be interesting actually. Yeah, PLF, the show on channel 292, that was cool. That was really cool. And the only thing that's needed for a show on channel 292, you know, one time it was paid for by Stephen Cooper. That was extremely you know, generous in paying for the first show. And the second time, he was the guy behind the streaming of the audio so that I could be heard over channel 292. And I had paid that that time too. It's kind of cool, you know, these are fun things. And who knows, maybe renting from, you know, somewhere else around the world. What I'd like, actually an experiment I would love to do, is not just have WBCQ, WRMI, but have the possibility maybe to rent airtime on a transmitter somewhere else in the world and broadcast, you know, to, I don't know, North America from some other place that could make it to North America. That would make like more of a DX target for anyone that wants to you know, listen to the show. Michael, what I got is 5450 usually. You're on 5445, maybe that's the one. I'm hearing it now. This is the Royal Air Force Vomit out of the UK. It's the Royal Air Force weather station. It's not very strong. It usually gets much stronger than that later in the day. So Scott says, "Oh, Clever Name Radio's on that's the one on 6935. Let's try it again, just for the fun of it." Not really. Got nothing. We got nothing at all. So nope, nothing right now. 10051. So what else do we have? Let's go down. What can we hear? Greek WRMI. $98.70.
hogy a hitelei más Liverpool's narrate about very confirmed
This is the broadcasting of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, 9870, Saudi Arabia in Arabic. So Saudi Arabia making it quite well on 9870. Hey, what else do we have? David in Barcelona, nice to have you here. And it's pretty cool to have you on board. Richard's receiving the buzzer, 4625. I heard the buzzer last week, haven't heard it since. Tried yesterday evening and the day before, haven't heard it. Jerry says 6935 S3. Still nothing here, so we'll see as the evening goes. PLF Radio 9870 is good, pretty good. Sheldon Harvey, nice to have you here. Greenfield Park, Quebec. Always nice to have you on board, my friend. Because we are tuning the bands today a little bit. And I will actually take my third beer and be checking out. Yeah, 9800, the empty carrier, that's Radio Cairo with no audio as usual, or very bad audio. So, okay. We are now going to take beer number 3, which is a 7.5% beer. This one is Seigneurie. And this is the third beer that I'm getting now. And it's really cold because I put it in ice water. So pretty nice beer. Technically I should rinse the glass because I've had other beers in it, but anyways. Let's just, here, look at that. Nice golden color, like, you know, just a little bit brown. So cheers everybody. Smells interesting. Much stronger taste. So, as we continue in, and this is the Shortwave show, for those that wonder what we are, what we do, and where we are, this is a Shortwave show. This is every Fridays, 2000 hours UTC. We talk about shortwave radio, which is a very interesting hobby that unfortunately not a lot of people know about. We are a bunch of great people. There's a chat room that's really, really fun. Great people in the chat. A lot of, interesting stuff going on. Really nice people. If you need, if you talk, you ask questions, there's always somebody that's there to answer. I can answer if of course, it's something that I know about. And of course, we're here every week, 2000 hours UTC. That's equivalent to 4 p.m. Eastern time until November. And November is going to switch to 3 p.m. Eastern time because of the time change. We are here from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. My name is Gilles. And tomorrow, by the way, is another radio show. We might talk about pirates. We might have some subject of some sort. There's a mix of pirates and Q&A. Who knows? So, that's something interesting. And, of course, we are tuning the bands tonight with Shortwave, and hope that you are enjoying our show. Orlando says you need to do a show about beer with Mary Jo Foley. You know what? If I ever go, one of the things I'd like to do is one day, if I go to New York, meet up. The Mary Jo Foley and Paul Rod meet up regularly at Rattle Hum in New York. And one of the things that I would like to do is, if I go to New York, would be to go there at a point where they are going to the bar, and say hi and just kind of have a little beer and say hello to these people. They're great in technology. They are people that I love a lot in the world of technology, and especially with Microsoft News. So we are tuning the bands. We have Saudi Arabia on 9870 right now. So Well, it's very simple, Richard. Richard has a question that says, will it be the same time, 20 UTC? I keep my show on the same UTC. So it's always 20 UTC. If you're on UTC time and think of my show on UTC, stays the same. Doesn't change for the radio shows at all. So the only ones that do shift an hour are the ones of the computer shows, because those I want to keep local time here the same. But for the radio shows, I keep the same UTC. So basically, we'll just switch to 3 p.m. local, and we'll keep the same UTC. And I think that's going to be better, because in the winter time, one of the things that happens with the winter shows, as we get deeper into winter, when we get to December and January, especially if the solar flux is low, if I start my show at 4 p.m., we're already at sunset here, almost. And basically, we get into a 2 or 3 hour show in darkness. And as we go through the show, especially in deep nights of winter, sometimes propagation isn't really good on our side, and we don't have a lot to listen to. So by keeping that 20 UTC, what's nice is it gives me in the December, January shows at least a good hour before the sun sets. So that's why I keep the UTC one. So for the radio shows, it's always 20 UTC. You guys will just have to adjust for your local time. Brian Awa says, picking up the 9870 on his ICOM 7300. Cool. And let's move this signal right here on the edge of the screen on the right. Let's check out what other signals are there on this 31 meter band right now. .9030 is the usual radio teletype. 9790, something weak. Not very strong. Let's go down here. Nothing much. Got a weak signal, 9600. Radio Marti on 9565. Not very strong. We've got, of course, India on 9445. Not very strong, but India is there, 9445 for sure. Mickey Delmeche says 9650 in French. Yeah, that's probably that station from that African station. I don't hear much here. Radio Guinée, which is in Africa, and I don't hear it very much here. You've got some great reception there, I can tell you that. 9650 is Radio Guinée in Africa. Very weak here. Check out if we hear Greece. Not very strong. Greece has been weak on 9420. I hear Greece right now. 9420, but not very strongly. Not very strongly. Vianney Arsenault, bonjour, bienvenue. Nice to have you on board. Jay Watterson 69, nice to have you here. You've missed Paul the Cat, meow, jump on me, and pretty much want some attention. And he's probably gone sleeping now or something. Yes, that is true, and we got to talk about that a little bit. You know, it's coming up. Remember that October is the last month for the summer schedules. On October 28th, we change for the winter schedule. So the frequencies will shift around for a lot of stations. And that's going to be interesting to see. And there's always that period of time, that small period of time where we're not really sure, you know, where the stations we listen to are located. So it's kind of interesting. Bumblesby, hey there, nice to have you here. 9870 in Northern Ohio on his Seacrane Skywave. Cool. That's cool. You like that Skywave, the Seacrane Skywave, Bumblesby? You've used it a lot? Looks nice. I've heard good stuff on this radio. Jose Luis Peña, nice to have you here. EC4TR. ¿Cómo está mi amigo? And always nice to have you here. Okay, what else do we have? What else do we have? So WRMI 9395. Where's there? Who cares? 9265, which is WINB, Red Lion, Pennsylvania. WINB 9265. He looks serious. What's your first shortwave? Cool, cool. Okay, and you ordered the Texan PL 880? I think you're gonna love it. Texan PL. It's the one that's missing in my Texan collection. If I had the cash for that and would want to add one more Texan to my Texan receivers, Texan PL 880. I was looking at the Ethon Executive. That one looks quite nice also, I have to say. Seems to pick up shortwave quite well. Richard Cook's receiving CHU on 7850 in the noise. Danny Shortwave Radio DX, greetings everyone from sunny and mild Yonkers, New York. Cool. And cool. Nice to know that your family in Puerto Rico is fine, is safe. It's always that, you know, always that scary moment where you're wondering if everyone's all right. Nice and happy to know they're safe. So really, really nice. Everything is all right here. Interesting. My stream looks okay here. I'll see if everything's all right. That's interesting. I'm gonna check it out. I see that the output is good here. Interesting. I can see that it's not on my side when it happens because I do have a very solid 4 megabits per second upload. So something's wrong at some part somewhere, a little missing here and there. You know what? I was looking at one of the things I wanted to know, because one of the things that makes you kind of wonder is when there's a stop in the stream. And I was, kind of wondering, is there something about me that I could do better, or something else, And I was looking at a stream from a podcaster that I watch that has a very high quality internet connection. He's got like gigabit up, down. And I noticed that it seems to be very, very YouTube related, because I'd say you watch it for an hour, it could be fine. And then you could have 30 seconds or a minute that everything stopped, and you're wondering if they're still there. And then sometimes happens a minute or two, and then it comes back and it's fine and it's okay for another hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. So it seems to be kind of YouTube related, I'd say. Because it happens on other streams that I watch. So very weird. Can I decode DRM? I can decode DRM, but the problem is there's nothing in DRM that I decode that works. the signal to noise ratio is too high for me. So pretty cool. So take care of PLF Radio. Always nice to have you here tomorrow. And tomorrow at the at 2000 hours UTC we're back. So Moderator DXer says yes. Usually it's YouTube. The other live streams are the same issue, always stopping. Have to reload, and this is on high-speed internet connections. Yeah, because my upload, because I could see it here. I see my upload, and I've been looking more and more at the numbers because, there's that green indication that says, "Oh, you're all right." The thing is, that green indication on the left side, I have also the number of kilobits per second I'm uploading, and it gives you an average of that here on the Wirecast. My average is really at the 4 megabits per second, which means my upload is going at a really fast rate. It shouldn't be stopping or having issues. So clearly there's something happening, in the middle where the connections are being made with YouTube. But at least there's one thing. Since I've got my new router, streams have been really, really much more solid and really, really good. One thing that I was really amazed, I have to say, is that when I did the live show at the CIDX barbecue with my cell phone, I was totally amazed at how well the stream held up using the LTE connections of my phone. It was incredibly good. And it really is nice because it helped me, know that if I want to do some live shows from somewhere else, it's really, really a good way to do it. TOT says 14227. Let's check it out. Anything there? Let's check out what's in here. Anything on the 20 meter band? Very quiet 20 meter band for me. Very quiet 20 meter band. So nothing much. So let's continue going down the bands. 9265 is where I was. What else do we have as we go down the frequency range? Nothing interesting here. Not much things happening. Something here. What's that? Some radio teletype. Oh, look at that, guys. The buzzing sound. Look at the buzzing sound from about 80 to 8100, 50 kilohertz wide. Really, really, really big buzzing sound right there. 8080 to 8100. Big 20 kilohertz wide buzzing. One of those radars or something, I don't know. Dan 805 heard the NES headquarters have about 98 gigabytes up down for their internet. Mickey Delmage is receiving for 6195 VOA Botswana. Wow, let's check it out here. 6195. And I am getting. It's very weak. Very weak, but it's there. Very weak, but it's there. I have to say. But it's very, very weak. So let's go back to the buzzing here. Go down the band slowly. Orlando says, could be the Google servers getting overload. Yeah, but you know what? These should really hold up. These should be, I mean, there's so many people broadcasting on the internet with YouTube Live and everything. These things should really hold on. I can tell you that. You know what, Dave thought? Don't use FLDG for WeatherFax. Use multi-PSK. You'll have much better results. It will be better FLDG, if your computer is hogged up for resource, if your computer, you're doing something else, it often skews or it often distorts and moves around. It's not one of the best for weather facts. I use FLDG, sorry. I use multi-PSK, and multi-PSK does the job way better than FLDG for weather facts decoding. Try it out. It's free software. Kevin Napalo, hey there, at WS2H, aloha, nice to have you on board. Richard's got 6195 strong, but about to go BBC soon. Okay, nice to have all of you here. Might hear Yankee Doodle 2200, 6195. So what else do we have here? There's something here I want to see. Okay, that's the Reddit teletype. Let's go back down. What is there here? 2680. All India Radio getting a much better signal now. 7550, 7550. All India Radio.
How do we deal with this? We need to put more emphasis in understanding what we need and what else.
Have you been able to more active in times of like floods and natural calamities, which can definitely impact wildlife sanctuaries and seal up cases and reducing cost of funding, etc. in Kaziranga too?
I think we are as effective as we can be. Running of Kaziranga is the way that Kaziranga regenerates itself. Because that's how you get the That's how you get the soil which is so fertile. So Kaziranga's flooding is a natural process which will happen every year. What we need to ensure is that as the animals always have a path to go.
Back in a few seconds, I will go see. I'll go see where DX the cat is. 7550. All India Radio. Lima says S9 plus 20 in Paris. Pretty good. And so All India Radio. I'm back in 2 seconds, guys.
Beggars will survive. So we need a greater understanding in those who take decisions. Sadly, most of the decisions are taken by our bureaucracy. So we need new people who can take decisions. So that's why I'm a great believer in public-private partnerships, which is also a major strategy of the Ministry of Finance. The Department of Economic Affairs has a center just to deal with public-private partnerships. I hope we can bring them to our national parks. They are thinking right now bringing them to our schools because we have to change course. So new solutions for the future, that is possible. There's another way.
Absolutely. On that note, thank you so much for this wonderful conversation. And we hope to see this entire wildlife ecosystem restoration in a much better way than it is.
Let's hope so. We keep our fingers crossed. Let's hope that the natural treasures of India will have its chance to survive in the future with more dynamic decision making and a greater engagement of all kinds of people, both in and out of government. This is the key in my opinion.
And your
So All India Radio 7550. What else do we have? 7495. There's something there. It's Radio Algérienne from France in Arabic. 7495. $74.90 is WBCQ, not very strong, but there. 7430 interval signal for Radio Romania International, and here we are starting an English broadcast. 7430. That's new. I've never heard that before.
This is Radio Romania International. You are listening to our 1 hour broadcast in English for listeners in Western Europe and Japan. We can also be heard on the internet at www.rri.ro channel 1. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter and other social media platforms. We wish you good reception conditions.
Hello, this is Anna Maria Popescu with the news bulletin. Here are today's headlines. Trade unions failed to reach any agreement on Friday with the government.
They have changed part of their songs, the music they put when there's an intro to the broadcast. It's different from what it was. First time I'm hearing that. Wow, Nathan Best says me neither. It's like it's a new intro that they've just added to their broadcast. Kind of interesting. I never heard that way before either. Look at that. Never heard that.
Trade unions Friday failed to reach an agreement with the government and the rest of the demands to give up the planned transfer of Social Security payment obligations from employers to employees. The head of Cartelized by Trade Union Confederation, Bogdan Russell, said the government was not interested in finding the better solution and insisted instead on keeping this method.
Hey there, Ivan. Nice to have you on board.
Taking part in the transfer, so the trade
Very good signal from Romania. You know, somebody was asking me one day why propagation was so bad. And I made that person notice propagation isn't that bad. What's missing is strong signals, because a lot of stations don't broadcast to North America anymore. So what we're left with in certain parts of the world, like in North America, in our shortwave listening, is a lot of weaker signals. We can still hear tons of things, but a lot of it not directed to us. So I was saying, look at the powerhouse signals that do broadcast to us. China Radio from Albania, Radio Romania International, even if it's distorted, but Radio Havana, Cuba. Look at these stations. They have great signals. So the problem is not related to propagation most of the time. It's related to the fact that we live in a world where the noise level got up, and basically the signals got weaker because they are from other parts of the world and not towards us. Gilles, this Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, on 1 UTC, tuned to 11580, my humble contribution to the world. Okay, I gotta take note of this. I'm gonna take note of this because I want to listen in. So let us know, Ivan, you've done a show on WRMI. This is really cool. This is really cool. So, this is nice. I am going to listen in. Absolutely. Taking a note here. Here we go. And there we go. Ivan on WRMI at 0100 UT Sunday. Well, Monday UTC time, but 9 p.m. Sunday night, North America. And I will take that. Absolutely. Wow, this is kind of cool. this is cool. I mean, I will be listening in for sure. So 74.95 Vianney was Algeria from what I had. 74.95 is Radio Algérienne here. I think they have like these little few minutes of French, then they go back to Arabic. I did hear a little bit of French going on that frequency sometimes, and it's really it's Algeria with some kind of a French news bulletin of some sort. It's like 5 or 10 minutes. So, but it's Algeria 74.95, and it's from France. It's transmitted from France. And yes, Mickey Delmage and Sheldon Harvey have a great idea here, and it's why not ask for a sample copy of the Canadian International DX Club Messenger Bulletin. It's an electronic publication, and it's a great little radio publication. And of course, you can ask for a sample copy. CIDXclub@yahoo.com, CIDXclub@yahoo.com, and it's a great little club. It's not just Canadian. It's not because it's called the Canadian International DX Club. Remember, there's Canadian at first, there's international as the second word. It's for everybody in any part of the world. They have shortwave information, English language schedules, they have QSL, there's a QSL page, there's of course logs, there's a lot of things about VHF, UHF, amateur radio, equipment, name it. It's everything in the radio hobby, and a nice little bulletin that's sent to you in PDF form every month. And just got the October version of the international the CIDX Messenger Bulletin, and it's always a great read, always a lot of information. So ask for your free copy at CIDXclub@yahoo.com, and you know what? If you like it, it's $10 a year, and you get this nice little publication in your email, and it's really cool. So don't hesitate. You know, Sheldon is a great guy. He's going to be happy to send you one of these little bulletins and show you what it looks like. It's really a great little publication. So, and yes, a very nice stuff, absolutely, with the pictures of Radio Romania. There is a CIDX member, actually, those that have been watching the CIDX barbecue live show. I actually interviewed Janice, and she has been to Romania and has some great pictures of her Radio Romania tour, which is pretty cool. So that's also something really interesting. So really nice, I gotta tell you. Now I'll try to post it also, Yvonne. By the way, if you're, I'll try to post your, I'll try to post if I can your show on my channel also, if I'm available. Sunday nights is always I'm not sure, because sometimes I'm away on Sunday nights, but I will try to do my best to do it. I really want to hear it for sure. So okay, yeah, 95.75 MIDI 1, yeah, that one seems to be gone for a while. I believe it's been gone for several weeks now. You are right on that, Yvonne, absolutely. So kind of cool, and it's a great club, by the way, so why not join it and have fun. You know, it's fun to be part of a club. By the way, let's check out another signal in English, North America. Voice of Turkey, 9830. Voice of Turkey in English, 9830.
An organization to commit crime and attempting to overthrow the government by use of force in a plot allegedly masterminded by US-based fictional memorandum of understanding on the purchase of AS-200 air defense systems from Russia's state-owned exporter with direction from last month's trip to Moscow on Thursday. Russia will help the kingdom develop its own military mastery, Reuters cites quoting a statement from state-owned Saudi Arabian military industries. A memorandum of understanding is generally a non-binding agreement on pursuing joint negotiations on such deals. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin hosted Saudi Arabia's program for talks at the Kremlin, commenced a relationship that is crucial for determining world oil prices and could be vital for resolving conflicts in the
So 9830 kilohertz, Voice of Turkey. So Janice Hurst, hey there, nice to have you here. So 9830, Voice of Turkey.
And now this is what the Turkish says. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has commented on the illegal referendum held by Kurdish regional administration in the north of Iraq and said those who opened the doors for this illegal referendum will have to pay the fine. They are not clear what they are doing. Barzani will have to give up on this claim. Without them, 7 members of the separatist terror organization PKK were captured alive in Mula, and the son of Pakistan were killed in an armed conflict with the Syrian.
Oh, let's check it out. China Radio International in Portuguese on a 7260 from China. Yeah, it's weak, but it's there. I got it very, very weak in the noise. By the way, one of the things that you guys should check out, I've noticed since we I noticed since we are in the equinox, start of fall, a lot of Asian signals been making it on many frequencies in the morning and evening. So tune around, because a lot of Asian signals are actually making it all the way around to North America. Pretty cool. Pretty good here, Janice. Pretty good. Nice evening of radio listening. It's actually, so 7210 is China Radio International. Is it? Is it? It's not. It's not. It's 7210. Is it? No, it's not. What is that? 7210 is yeah, China Radio in Spanish from Albania transmitter site. China Radio in Spanish. I wasn't wrong. So is this ham radio? It's shortwave radio. It's close, but it's listening to the international broadcast bands on shortwave. So we hear stations from all over the world. And a lot of guys that are ham radio at some point become amateur radio operators. A lot of guys, not everybody. I didn't jump there. Ethan Best says, I get up extra early just to listen to the Asian signals. Yeah, there's a lot of them lately. A lot of them lately. Anybody hearing the 7260 China radio in Portuguese from China? Montreal guy 65. Hey there. Well, you better not use the electrical wiring in your home for antenna. That's one thing for sure. Mr. Last name, what receiver am I? This is the Afedri SDR. It's a software-defined radio and controlled by this software, which is HD SDR. Great long wave, medium wave, short wave radio, basically. The 10 best says 7260 is about S3. You see here, if I look at 7260, it says on the EIBI radio, China Radio International there, and it's Portuguese to South Europe apparently. Interesting. Portuguese to Southern Europe, 7260. So it's really directed towards Europe. That's interesting. Yeah, ephedry, exactly, Mr. Last Name. Exactly, you've got it right, ephedry. Don't you just love idiots? I don't really care. That's all I gotta say. What else do we have here? As the Royal Française, they are nice. So let's check it out here. Yvonne says can hear 7260 well in Michigan. Set up a remote station in Michigan with 80-meter antenna. Cool. Cool. You know, my problem is the noise because I see it very well in the waterfall. But my noise level is, you know, if I tune next to it here, my noise level is like S8. So it's crazy. It's like the signal is S8, S9, which is not bad, but it's at par with the noise. Bonsoir, and nice to have you here. What else do we have here? Let's go down. So we have, of course, we were at Romania here, 7430.
September 24th, legend.
There's something in Chinese, 7410 or something. Something in Chinese on 7410, which is Vatican Radio in Mandarin. Ah, I'm listening to Vatican Radio in Mandarin, which I've never heard in that language before, I believe. I've heard Vatican Radio on many different languages, but never in Mandarin. What else do we have? This is also Radio Romania 7325, but it's broadcasting away from me to the far east, and instead of broadcasting towards us. That's why it's not as strong as 7430. 7325. Radio Romania is also there, but it broadcasts to the far east. What else do we have here? Jerry says, I had a scheduled power outage last Sunday and the reception on my radio was immaculate. Oh, you know what, Jerry? I would love for the Hydro-Quebec Power to say, oh, by the way, we're going to cut the power for 24 hours at your area. I can tell you one thing. That day, I'm canceling everything I do, and I do shortwave 24 hours. I just want to do that. I can tell you that. It's just so freaking incredible when you have a power outage and you notice that you see that noise level just drop to zero, and you're like, oh man, this is so cool. Okay, what else do we have here? We're going into the 40-meter ham band. Yeah, it's, you know what? It's well, if it's for the Far East, I don't think it is, because technically it would go through daylight, wouldn't it, David? I think it's more like the back scatter from the antenna. Ethan Best says, every time the power goes out, I grab the radio. Actually, you know what? Every time the power goes out, we are probably the only ones that are really happy that the power goes out. What else do we have here? So some amateur radar operators. Let's check out what's... Okay. So 7210 is China Radio International. You know, that's the bad thing about two things. It's the bad thing about a power outage, because we see... Hey Casper, nice to have you here from the IRC chat room. It's you know, you get a power outage and you see what the noise level could be, and when it comes back, you're kind of, you know, down, because it's like, oh man, I mean, the power outage showed me what I could DX, and now I can't. It's the same thing that happens when I go to Perry Island. At Perry Island, I see what I can DX, and I just come back home and I'm like bummed, because it's like, oh man, this is so effing bad. So 7196 lower sideband. EA3JE, as David says, from Spain on 7196, an amateur radar operator from Spain. Brian Iowa says, I've been listening to 6935 myself. They ID'd out of Florida. Really? Wow. Casper Peterson, nice to have you here. And no problem. Better late than never, they say. So, you know what? Janicer says, I use shortwave. Cool. Limas and Paris says, S7196 is S9 plus 50. The station is very well known. Yep, it is one of the powerful AM stations, I can tell you that. Really, really nice. Jerry says, bought a 35 amp hour AGM battery for my backup system. Can listen to weak signals. One of the things I want is to power up my ICOM ICR 8500 at Perry Island. I would like to do that and check it out. Let's check it out. Sheldon's got maybe KBS on 11810. Unfortunately, for me, it's there, but noise level. But you know what, Sheldon? I remember last year around this time, I would listen to the BBC World Service on 11810. And when the BBC would sign off at 2100 or 2200 and KBS World Radio, they would overlap a little bit, because there would be the KBS interval signal. And then I'd be receiving the KBS World Radio signal on 11810. So it's one of those that's quite easy at sometimes making it up to here. So let's go back down to 7196, lower sideband. Unfortunately, KBS World Radio, I think it's the first year that I didn't receive them at least once in the summer. I tried 15575 every morning. It was really horrible, unfortunately. Hey, Radioactive. Yes, I'm all dressed up. I'm all dressed up. Nice. I've been at Microsoft today. That's why I'm all dressed up. I gotta look sharp to be the team leader. That's why I'm all dressed up. Got back home from Microsoft for the show. That's why I look like I look now. That's my work clothes. Let's check out the different frequencies. C. Johnson. I'm gonna try the different tanks to Brian Arrow for sure. For WWV, let's try 25 megahertz. I heard it a few times this week, so not coming in. 20 megahertz. 20 megahertz is coming. Let's try 15. Very weak, but there. 10. Nothing. So the only frequency that's really good right now for me for WWV is 20 megahertz. Ten 715. Yep. Hey, take care, Sheldon. Always nice to have you on board. There's another show tomorrow if you can make it. We'll be happy to be around as usual. Take care, Sheldon. Always nice to have you here. So, yeah, well, as winter, there's here, I can tell you, C. Johnson, there's a pattern that I've noticed over the years. 20 megahertz, 25 megahertz, I almost never hear that in the summertime. But as we get slowly into the winter time, 20, 25 starts coming in almost daily. And they are really strong. In the summertime, I'll get more like 15 or 10 megahertz. And in the nighttime, 5, 2.5, but 5 mostly. So really nice. So take care. And Radioactive, for that question, is going really well. Like I was saying earlier, I noticed that I was missing out on something. I've been working self-employed for 20 years. And I've been mostly doing a lonely job. That's, tech guy. I've been meeting people with tech guy because I would fix people computers, but I'd be working alone, and YouTube videos, you're pretty much lonely at home. And I've one thing that has given me is the fact that I missed the fact that of working with other people, and that's what I like about that job. And the project I'm working on is pretty cool too. So, anyways. Only time will tell, and we'll see. We'll see. Radioactive says 15 and 10 are good for him. What else do we have? CHU on 7850 for Richard. Cool. Cuban Lady is 9 for Radioactive. And what else do we have? Okay, there you go. I got enough of Janice. I'm sorry, guys, but I got no patience for that. I really got no patience for that. So anyways, let's continue tuning around. And we were at 7196 lower sideband for some Spanish amateur station. Mike DeVita, nice to have you here. Pretty cool to see you here. Yeah, spy numbers on 10715. BB North America. So what else do we have? We have other stations here. Hey, by the way, guys, isn't Iqaluit weather soon to be on the air? Just out of curiosity. Iqaluit is going to be on the air in 5 minutes. And remember, guys, I was excited to receive. I've received it weekly the other day. I'm going to try 6507 for Iqaluit. Yvonne says net starts now 7185 lower sideman and night watch net is going on 7192. Okay. I'm just going to move my chair a little bit. There we go. So, what do we have here? Let's go down. Anything else in the AM band, 40 meter band? Oh, there's one station here, 71. There's a 9 Alpha station, 7166.75. Lima Yankee 4 America. Okay, 9 Alpha stroke Lima Yankee 4 America. Okay, you guys, can you guys help me out with one thing here? I've got a question for you guys. So that station is identifying 9 Alpha stroke Lima Yankee 4 America. What does this exactly mean? So LY4A is Lithuania, but if he's doing 9 Alpha stroke, what does it actually mean? Hey Ernie, there was something on 27555. 27555 for the CB out of band. That's a Lithuanian operator from Croatia. Okay, thanks, Ivan. So the first number says I'm in Croatia, stroke my usual call. So that's what it means, because I'm always messed up when they actually do these calls that are kind of this/this. I've for some reason I've never you know opened up on what exactly, where are you exactly. So now I know Croatia from a Lithuanian station. Cool. Thanks Ivan for making it clearer for me next time I hear a station that has a something stroke something. It's you know that's why everybody's here to understand things sometimes that we didn't really understand. So Croatian station, actually Lithuanian amateur radio station in Croatia. Okay, so all I got to remember is that the first part is where he's broadcasting from. The stroke is real call sign. As long as I remember that, it's going to be okay. Manrio the Extra says, that's good to know, as I heard operators give their call signs, but they cannot find anything. Yeah, because when you do that, it's not a call sign. It's not a call sign you can search. So guys and girls watching this, apparently when I say guys, it offends some women. I've learned that this week on my channel, because I've had a woman say, well, you know, you say guys all the time, and there are women watching. And the thing is, for me, guys is like everybody. For me, a girl listening to shortwave or a girl amateur radio operator, for me, it's a guy. And for me, guy is a very general rule, you know. So basically, okay. So it's okay. So we just Wolfman Outdoor. Hey there. Says in the US I will identify VA3 UMP/W1. Okay, well, as long as we understand that short, you know, like W7, W1, whatever, is from where the station is broadcasting, I say guys, and for everybody. For me, guys is everyone. And I'm not alone in doing this. But I did get a rant this week about, well, you know, I'm a lady and I watch your videos and I'm a little offended that you say guys. And I'm like, what? Well, I'm sorry, but for me, it's like, for me, guys is everybody. I don't know. It's just me. Richard says, never heard of the time station on 2500. If it's nighttime between Colorado and UK, and your noise is low enough, it's not impossible at all. I can tell you that. Let's check 6507. It's there. It's not very strong. 6507, guys. Iqaluit, Nunavut, in the northern parts of Canada. The weather station, 6507 upper sideband. Very weak, but it's there. It's weak, but I do hear guys and chicks. Now I'm going to get a rant about somebody saying, don't call us chicks. Radioactive says nothing on 6507. It's very weak here, though, but it's there. I definitely hear it. Hey, guys, I'm on my 4th beer, which is rare that I do this on the show. Beer number 4. Which is a Raftman. So you guys having fun, hopefully? You guys want me to continue on for a little more? How about it? Yvonne hears it weekly on 6507. Or very weak. Weekly is like more every week, but very weak. Yeah, that one is probably a difficult one, Lima, for Paris. It's very, very weak. 6507. And by the way, it doesn't operate in the winter time. It's only during the time where boats can actually go to the through these areas. Yeah, I do look up operators on QRZ.com, which I like a lot. It's just that you gotta know that it is just that you have to enter just a call sign in order to know it. When they do a let's, you know, a something/something, you can't enter that because it usually doesn't work. So you just, that's where you need to know. Jerry says 6507 week. Keep going, Jill. I love doing these shows. It's kind of fun. And I'm at my fourth beer. I usually buy, and the funniest thing is, I was thinking today, is that a good idea? Because I bought a case of 12 beer, because the mixed cases, they don't have in 6. I have to buy a case of 12. So I thought, usually I buy 6. And the reason why is I take, especially in the shows where there's 2 shows, one on Fridays and one on Saturdays, I will, of course, take 3 on the Friday and have 3 left for the Saturday show. So when I bought the 12 case, I was like, is that a good idea? Are you not going to just drink a lot tonight and tomorrow? It's crazy, but these, when you start taking a beer, it's like you take 5 or 6 or whatever. Gel TV 24/7. I'm not sure about that, but but one thing I would like to do, I gotta say, and I really would like to, by the way, is to basically do at one day sometime a 24-hour radio listening and talking about something. I don't know. So on YouTube, I believe it's 6 hours at a time. So I'd do 6 hours, then log off and restart another 6 hours of stream. And kind of, let's go around the clock. And that's one thing that I really would love to do one day. So I don't know when, but someday that could be a cool thing to just for the fun of it. Now, not 24 hours of beer, though. I would have coffee and all sorts of things that keep me awake in there. Just a little bit of beer somewhere. Not 24 hours of beer. So SWL France SDR says QTH West France 9420 Greece, receiving Greece. Cool. Jerry says 6507 is weak. Edward Johnson, thumbs up. So nice to have everybody here. What else do we have here? Richard in Atlanta, barely 6507. So pretty cool. F. Blassie says, Jill, first annual marathon. Like on January 1st or something. I don't know. Some kind of 24 hours. I would not do a 24-hour beer, because if I do a 24-hour beer, I will be after probably, I'd say about after 6 hours, completely gone. So what I would do is probably start something like at a time where we take it easy, have coffee, a little bit of food, tune the bands, talk about the radio, and end it maybe with some beers. But even that, I don't know. I just I'd go to sleep. This makes me sleep. So if I do it, I will not do a 24-hour beer. It wouldn't be impossible. Although when I go to my brother's and we have parties, we do like 15 hours. So yeah, who knows? But that would be too drunk. So this one's a Raftman. This is this one right now, Raftman, at 5.5%. Pretty good. What's the world record for longest YouTube Hangout stream? I don't know. I have no idea, man, Radio DXer, but I'm sure there is I'm sure there is one. There must be a world record for that. So our world record, our own record for the radio show is 5 hours, I believe. Did we do 5 hours? How much did we do? We did. I know we did at least 4. Anybody remember the longest one I've done? I remember 4. At least 4. But I don't remember if I did 5. I did at least 4. That's for sure. At least 4. So 6507, 5. I did 5, eh? So Jerry, you confirm I did a 5-hour one. I thought I did, but I wasn't sure anymore. What the retro gaming show was like. Completely nuts. The retro gaming show was fun. Or maybe 4.5, yeah. Yeah, the retro gaming, we did some long ones in the retro gaming. You're right, Danny Shortwave and Patrick Manny. Thing is, we were totally drunk. Me and Gabrielle were totally drunk in the in the retro gaming. I was cursing like crazy. I mean, the F word was coming out of my mouth every 10 minutes. At some point, you know what? Somebody that watched a lot of my shows and was a big fan for a long time actually told me that he stopped watching my shows because he watched my retro gaming. And he cannot stand somebody using the F word. And because he had actually wrote down that I had used the F word like 23 times during a retro gaming show. And that it was unacceptable. And he's gone and we don't see him anymore. And he was a fan of both my radio shows and my computer shows. And what do you want? You know, you can't... Retro gaming is hard not to swear or curse, because it's like you're trying to beat somebody, you know, it's like crazy. I don't know. And I'm not I'm not that kind of guy to use the F word easy. F word is something it's like in French. We have all these curse words in French. I don't curse. I almost never curse. But when I get drunk in retro game, it's crazy. It's like, no, I'm going to beat the F out of you. I don't know why. Okay. So, a little bit of Iqaluit. Not very strong, but it's there. There is some...
80 miles, 80 miles before I'm not a contact. New York on 126.02.
Took the words out of my mouth, Dave Todd. That's what I was about to say. Some aero communications on 6586 upper sideband. Oh, by the way, you know what? SWL France, SDR, Argentina on 11580 right now in Spanish, I believe. They have on 11580, and I have been hooked to that, a 1-hour French broadcast from Radio Argentina al Exterior at 1300 UTC. 13 to 1400 UTC. They have 1 hour of French from Argentina on WRMI on 11580. It's always coming in well here. I'm hooked. Totally hooked. 7178 sounds silly. Let's check it out. 7178. Lower sideband. Thank you for that info, Mad Radio DX. For 4 hours, 55 minutes. Longest you've seen listed on the channel. Cool. Cool. 6432 sometimes of some kind of fax. Now that's radio teletype, Richard. If it sounds like this, radio teletype. Radioactive has nothing on 6586. Brian Arwa can hear loud and clear 7178. David says, Logio, we also have an enormous list of curse words in Spanish. I never use them though, unless I'm very, very angry. Till now, that's pretty much what I do. Most of the time, if I use a curse word, I'm really angry or drunken retro gaming. That's pretty much it. Off by 5 minutes. It's easy to do, by the way. You know what? When you're on the stream, always check the clock. Always check what time it is. Because there's a interesting thing that happens on YouTube, is that for some reason at some point you can be off by 5, 10, 20 minutes and you don't even know about it. So I see it because I see some of you guys sometimes respond to things, you know, they're answering questions or they're commenting on something that's like 20 minutes ago. And basically it's just crazy because it's like you're just, you know, okay, well, you're kind of far in the stream. So you got to be careful and always check the clock. It shouldn't be off by 20 minutes. It should be pretty much, you know, 30 seconds or something like that. It's easy to be off. Absolutely. What else do we have here? Okay, just going down the chat. Sometimes I stop the chat to make sure. Sometimes I'm off in the chat for 20 minutes. So yeah, 7200 is trash for sure. For sure. VK2FBAG. There's one letter too many here. Something. Brian in Sydney, Australia. So no worry. Like I say, better late than ever. Well, Ernie, I don't do it really anymore, Ernie. So I you know, I'll let you know. We did it the retro gaming show. I did with my nephew Gabriel after we did the Windows from the Couch show. And basically, what would happen is we would get drunk already, and me and Gabriel, we have this thing of Gabriel as, so I offer the beer, and Gabriel has probably one of the biggest alcohol cabinet that you can imagine. He likes to have bottles of all sorts. So when he comes here, he always brings a bottle of something. So basically what would happen is we drink the beer, we already be rather drunk, and basically after we'd eat something, and then he would bring out that bottle of something that we drink alcohol. It's just like completely nuts. We would really get drunk while retro gaming, I can tell you that. Really crazy. So really crazy, I can tell you that. Dr. Fallout from Ireland, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Okay. VK2FBAG. No foundation licensees in Australia have 4 letters. That's interesting. Okay, thank for the information. Didn't know about that. Didn't know about that. Okay. Huh. Bonne nuit, SW France. Toujours demain, je serai en direct encore. You know what, SW France, I will check your channel and I will also review it if you want. If it has mostly radio videos, I will review it and post a link on my channel, and hopefully you'll get some new subscribers from that. They've taught, yep, 6935 has been active with a pirate play in the past few hours. Still got really nothing here. 9:55 a.m. Saturday morning. That looks like in the future for me. Crazy. Yes, I'm hearing it very, very weakly. I hear a little something at 6935 upper sideband. Nelson Silva Filo, nice to have you here from Brazil. Pretty cool to have you on board. Really cool. So yeah, there's a little something on 6935, I have to say. Let's go to... Let's check out what else we can hear. Can you guys hear? 6606 upper sideband. There's a Morse code signal. It's 4XZ. 6606 upper sideband. I hear it, not very strong. There's a Morse code signal on 6606 upper sideband. It IDs at 4XZ, which is Israeli military station, and they have a lot of messages going through Morse code at that frequency. 6606 upper sideband. Anybody receiving that Morse code signal? It's 4XZ from Israel. 24-hour of pirate stations on October 31st. That would be cool, but it's in the smack in the middle of the week. Well, it's in the beginning of the week. But we will chase pirates on October 31st. By the way, for those that don't know, October 31st falls on a Tuesday. So what's going to happen? On Tuesday, I have my regular radio, tech show at 3 p.m. Once it's ended around 4:30, 5 p.m., I will sign on with a radio show October 31st. So Halloween night, expect me to be live and chasing pirates on that evening. So if you guys want to have fun, chase pirates on Halloween Eve, it's going to happen. So check it out. October 31st live show. As for the time, it's going to be later than usual. So it's probably going to be around 2200 UTC. So I'm sorry for you guys in Europe. It will be probably a little better for North America. Vianney Arsenault says 6935, very, very weak. So, cool. It's going to be interesting. Dr. Fala just got licensed. It's called EI8HPB. Congratulations. Got his rig connected to the PC and monitored the frequencies with you guys. Welcome aboard, Dr. Fala. Nice to have you here. Manrier DXer says I can get a Morse code station in the UK as well. That's 4XZ. They're identifying themselves as 4XZ, and sometimes they go on like a Morse code message, coded message, very, very long. It's Israel military that's on this frequency. Jerry, I hear it. Cool. Dan 805 says CB38 LSB is booming. If anyone has good skip propagation, I'll be calling. Station 142. Okay, we're going to check that if there's something here. Let's try just to see if there's something on the CB bands. 27385 or something like that. Doesn't seem to have anything here on the propagation. We'll go back to 6606 upper sideband. Richard in Atlanta, Georgia, receiving 6606. It's actually 6607 CW, but 6606 upper sideband. It's sometimes so strong, actually, that 6606 606 upper sideman sometimes interferes with the 6604 Volmet from New Yorker Gander.
Aviation weather, Detroit, missing. Cleveland, missing. Cincinnati, missing.
6604 is not Trenton Military, Mad Radio.
Pittsburgh, missing.
It's New York Radio Volmet 6604. It's not Trenton Military. Right now it's New York weather. It alternates New York and Gander. Trenton Military is on 6754 upper sideband.
Detroit, missing. Cleveland, missing. Cincinnati, missing. Indianapolis, missing.
It's
Pittsburgh,
October 31st, Jerry. Halloween night. Let's be clear, Halloween night. So right now it's New York.
missing. Indianapolis, missing. Pittsburgh, missing. Detroit, missing. Cleveland, missing. Cincinnati, missing. Indianapolis, missing. Pittsburgh, missing.
It was beautiful last night, by the way. Vianney's talking about the moon. As last night, I went outside to go to the grocery store around, I think it was around 9 p.m. And the moon was absolutely beautiful. I can tell you that. Lima Villas says 6604. Paris is S7. Ivan's receiving 6935. Still playing music. Yeah, I believe it ID'd earlier, by the way. Jerry says rain all weekend here. Oh, sad. Here's going to be nice this weekend. It's actually going to be nice. You know what? If it wasn't for Microsoft on Monday, I would go to Perry Island. They're announcing like 21, 22 Celsius, 70 Fahrenheit for 3 days next week. And I really want to go back one last time to Perry Island before winter sets in. So I got to really do it. 60 FPS by BTW. Love this show with the big screen behind. Thank you. Nice to have you on board. And hope you're listening to the shortwave bands with us. It's always a nice thing to do. And remember, guys, if you like what I do, paypal.me/shortwave. I will last time I will actually bring it up. Don't want to annoy you guys with this, by the way. But it's a great way to help me out. AdSense is not fantastic. And I got to say, your donations have helped me tremendously in continuing what I do. And you guys, if you guys love what I do and want to spare a little something, much appreciated. Thank you for all that donated. PayPal is my preferred way because it's kind of direct and easy. Patreon is not bad. It's a way you can set it up for like monthly donations. You got to really be careful in how you set it up, though. Some people have been kind of surprised that the amount was taken off. So that's why sometimes I'd rather people do it through PayPal also. And Patreon does take kind of 5% of all the money, where PayPal does have fees, but less. So thanks for everybody that donated, by the way. And I saw some donations come through tonight. Thanks for everything. And I hope you enjoyed the shows. And I won't annoy you again for tonight. Look at that. I'm going to close the window. Last time I'm annoying everybody with donations, okay? So, bring a tent and camp in the bushes of Perry Island. No, you know what? I would not do that. I'm afraid of some bad surprises that are going to be there. Yeah, good propagation, Lima. Absolutely. Propagation is amazing. You know what? I saw somebody post nice harvest moon last night, and I just couldn't take my, I just couldn't make. I had to make the link with Tom Petty that died this week, and I've got his CD here from Harvest Moon, which I find one of his best albums. And when I saw people post, "Oh, nice harvest moon last night," I just had the image of Tom Petty in my head, and I was like, "Wow." I was a big fan of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, but Tom Petty was, I've seen Tom Petty live in Toronto with a friend of mine about 10 years ago, and I'm a big fan. Always loved Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and everything he did was amazing. But it's funny, when I saw Harvest Moon, I was like, oh man, brings back that album from Tom Petty. Amazing. Woman out there says the weather here in Eastern Canada has been amazing this year. Skip, it's Canadian holiday. Yeah, it's a Canadian holiday this weekend. We have 3 days. It's Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend. We got ours like a month before US. Yvonne says 9420 loud and clear. Let's try it again to see if it's there. Grace? Yeah, it's there. It's not very strong, but it's there. Bonsoir, Lima Villas. Toujours le bienvenu demain, si jamais vous êtes libre. 20h temps universel. 2000 hours UTC will be live. Richard's receiving the PIP on 3756. Oh yeah, Mickey Delman. Thank you for the correction. I mixed them up. Harvest Moon is a Neil Young album. It's Full Moon Fever I was thinking of. Thank you for making that correction, Mickey. I don't know why I did that correction, that mix up. So thank you. Thank you. It's I didn't mix them up. Harvest Moon was a Neil Young album, which is also an excellent album, by the way. But I don't know, because of the Tom Petty news, I was thinking of Tom Petty for some reason. Cool. À demain. So in the US, it's also a holiday, Columbus Day. Oh, cool. Cool. Really nice. Oh yeah, that Tom Petty tribute to George Harrison. Yeah. I also really liked when when Tom Petty was with George Harrison, Roy Orbison, and what's the other guy in the Traveling Wilburys? That was really good. Traveling Wilburys were amazing, also. Really, really cool. Okay, let's check out what else we have. So, going down more. What's this? So, Aeronautical Communications. Stanag. Strong signal here. 6175 with some music. 6175. China radio from Albania in Spanish. As we get towards, is that? Let's check it out. Yep, at 2300 UT. Type of antenna I'm using is a 22 meter long sloper, and you got kicked off of IRC because you're using uppercase. Yanni Astano says 9350 with some nice music. Has some could be Blues Radio International. What's on this? Actually, some Christian music is amazing also. But this is WWCR in Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, Jeff Lynn. Yeah, Two Hands in the Radio. Thank you for completing. Traveling in Wilburys. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, Bob Dylan was in there. Yeah, I forgot about Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan was part of Traveling in Wilburys also. But Jeff Lynne also. Pretty sure. What else do we have? We have WWCR 6115. I missed the CBC on 6160, by the way. CBC, CKZN out of Newfoundland. I really, really miss CKZN. So you guys are hearing Brazil on 9665. Let's check it out. Something weak. Oh, the transmitter seems to be a little off. But nothing right now. What else do we have? Weak, but there. CFRX in Toronto, 6070. Now here in North America, Richard, 9665 is a frequency that I hear regularly, Brazil, in Portuguese. 9665 is one of the regulars from Brazil here. What else do we have? Cuba in Spanish on 6000. Let's go down a little bit. There's the whining. Here's the whining on 5900. The moaning. The moaning, and you know what, guys? It's a moaning that comes from Bulgaria. 5900 is moaning from Bulgaria. That Brother Stare moaning show. 5900, and it's coming to us from Bulgaria. Now that's a DX target, moaning from Bulgaria. Pretty cool. How do you QSL such a station? Well, I was listening to the moaning. There was a stronger moaning. There was crying at 23 something UT. Somebody was moaning like a cow at 2314. And somebody was going crazy at 2316. So I don't know. 990 Chinese language. Let's check it out. Well, you know what? Okay, we got two choices here. The most probable one, this is the CNR1 jammer from China. So it's China National Radio 1. Direct from China. So we're hearing China on 9900 right now. And the other station on that frequency at this time is Radio Taiwan International. But so it could be Radio Taiwan or China National Radio. Most of the time when both are on the frequency, it's China National Radio. But so it's either Taiwan or China, which for China is China anyways. But for us North American, it's Taiwan or China. So in Mandarin on 9900. So this is from China. I don't understand the thing, but I kind of find it cool to just know that I'm listening to a station from China. So, Vianney says, super cool, super good signal here, 9900 kilohertz, 519, pretty good. So that's the fun part of this time of the year. A lot of Asian signals on 25, 31, and even 41 meter band. WRMI on 5850. So check out what we have in the 5 megahertz range. 5616 Aeronautical Communications from Gander. There's a lot of stuff happening on 5616, by the way. It's one of the major frequencies for aeronautical communications. Really cool. Okay, Vianney, I'm moving to where you live. Okay, can you build me a little something not far from where you are? I'm going to be there. Okay, I'm arriving tomorrow. You know, the funniest thing, Vianney, is that the difference between you and me is that you have less noise on that signal on 9900. So you're getting it much better than me. But still, I kind of, tell myself, for a big city guy, I'm still not that bad. I still hear some stuff. I still hear some DX targets. Okay, and here is this on 5450 is the Royal Air Force weather station in the UK. You know what, Vianney? I've got to deal with you. We're going to build a shortwave transmitting station there on that mountain. And we're going to broadcast to the world some programs via that shortwave station on that mountain. I have to say something. I have to say that I when I moved here, where I am, I came from another place where it was really quiet. It was basically where I lived before. It was a place where there was only old people, and just to give you guys an idea, they had such old technology all around that it was like living in the 80s. And I could listen to shortwave really well. I would DX really well. When I moved here, the first thing that I noticed was the noise was so much higher, and that kind of bummed me down a little bit. How about a shortwave cabin in Perry Island? I'd have to buy Perry Island, which would probably cost me like $1 million just for nothing, just for the island. And I'm not sure it's a great place. Two hands on the radio. Yeah, it's not Radio Bulgaria. It is really it's they're using the same transmitter site. They're using the transmitters that Radio Bulgaria used to have before, which are still working, but it's really it's not Radio Bulgaria, unfortunately. It's really just the old Bulgarian transmitter site of Radio Bulgaria, which is sad to have left the bands. Do they still have shows on the internet of some sort? I don't know. Why don't you build yourself a remote station? Because I have no remote place to put it on. To put a remote station, I need to have a remote place that I can actually have it there. And I don't have a remote place to do it. Vianney says, I was living in the west part of Montreal before, Perrault Island. I have experimented about noise there too. 6935, let's check it out. Is it Tom Petty music? There's definitely music. Thanks for the info, Yvonne. I didn't know that they had two and that they actually dismantled one and rented the other one. I really wish Radio Canada International would have, or the CBC would have rented the Sackville transmitter site. So much. Well, you know what, Richard? That's the thing that I'm scared of, because I have seen one in action in Greenfield Park. Okay? And when you're in a very heavy noise environment, what I've noticed is that in Greenfield Park, the Walbrook didn't shield. It had as much noise as I have here. And you know what? That scares me, because it kind of tells me, and you know, I've had a lot of people send me some messages telling me, if you can null out the noise, you'll have no noise. But if the noise is all around you, a Walbrook does nothing. And I'm afraid that the Walbrook here will do nothing. That's why, for the most part, I am not, paying $300, $400 for something that might not work is something that I'm not sure I want to do. So I don't know. Because at Greenfield Park, Eric Cottrell had one. And I did talk about noise and everything with him. And he kind of agreed that, when there's a lot of noise around you, it doesn't necessarily do anything better. So that's the problem. Is there anywhere else you can go besides Perry Island and get away from power lines? Yeah, absolutely. There are other places. It's kind of an easy place for me. But there are a few places I can go to that I would, this summer, if it's not a crappy weather, it was raining all the time, I wanted to do a series of videos on different places. I want to do Perry Island, but do other places that I go to that could be good for shortwave. And show you guys the different places around Montreal at the same time. And basically, it didn't happen because of the rain. It was raining all the time this year in Montreal. It was really, really bad weather. Every time I could go and have time to do something, rain or cold or cloudy, cold, and just not fun. Yeah, but it depends on the noise, Richard. That's the thing. Here I am surrounded by noise from everybody, and from, I suspect also from the DSL internet from the phone lines. So I'm not sure. That's why I'd like to have somebody that I know that has a Walbrook that would be willing to just bring it over, and we can plug it in, show me it works, and then I'll invest. That's the problem. The problem, you know, a Walbrook, okay, is a magnetic loop. So what it does, it naturally removes some noise. There's some types of noise that have a polarization that the Walbrook can handle and kind of remove because of the way it's built. But a Walbrook is also a directional antenna, and for the noise to be at the minimum, you gotta kind of flip it to where you null out the noise. If the noise is all around you, you can't really null it out, which is what we've seen at the CIDX barbecue. Sheldon has a very noisy location, and the Walbrook showed us there it didn't really do much for noise. Yvonne says W6 LVP's loop is just as good and you can return it. Does not work, and because it comes from the USA. Well, maybe that's what I should do. I have seen that one, and you know what? Honestly, it's been a few times, and it's a little less expensive, by the way. For a few times, I've been thinking of the W6 LVP's magnetic loop, and if I can return it, if it really doesn't work, it could be tempting to purchase one, test it out, and if it works, cool. But and I would guess it's just as good, and it's actually a little less expensive, if I'm not mistaken, than the Walbrook. So you know, it's crazy because noise is such a bad shit asshole, you know. ASW guest, no problem. Just be careful with the caps lock, because the automated system doesn't like caps lock, and that's a problem. And Michael Bott, nice to have you here, by the way. So I'm gonna check it out. Danny Shortwave Radio X says heard some good news, some good things about MFJ loop. Maybe that could be interesting. Now shipping to Canada. Could be an interesting one. Maybe I could have some, you know, I don't do this much, but sometimes I'm thinking, you know, maybe if I approach the guy and say, or the company and say, look, I have a shortwave channel, I will talk about your product, and I'd be happy to test it out and everything. You know, can you do a discount of some sort, because, you know, I'll be kind of promoting it. You know, if I would buy a W6 LVP loop and it's amazing, all I gotta say is that I would basically just brag about it all the time. So I don't know. You know what? I will do that. You know, I'll tell him I have a channel, have live shows and everything, and you know, maybe I can help him sell more, which would be a good thing for him. And yeah, well, internal antennas are never really good on radios. You know, it's not the best. Noise cancelers, I don't know. I've seen these noise cancelers that kind of have an antenna that look at the noise around you and try to cancel it. But I've never seen somebody talk about it and say it's really good. I don't know. I don't know. So there is definitely some music, and it's clever name Radio, the Pirate on 6935. So hey guys, I'm going to have I'm going to say bye bye. Anyways, I'm amazed, Richard, at what you receive in your part of the world with your radio and antenna. It's just amazing. I can tell you that. Oh, does Sparkyzilla have one, Danny Shortwave? Does he posted a video about it? I need to check that out. Okay, Mad Radio the Extra says you need identical antennas. One for receiving, one for noise cancellation to get the best results. Huh. I'd rather have a magnetic loop, I can tell you that. Hey, Edwin Toma, leaving Philippines October 18. Be there till August 2018. Wow. Hope you have some nice DX there in the Philippines, Edwin. So anyways, I'm going to say bye-bye, guys. I'm a little hungry. I want to eat a little something. Thanks for being here. You guys have been great. It's always fun to have all of you here on board. Tomorrow, live show at 2000 hours UTC. Yeah, the U20 SDR is actually amazing, usually, Southern Illinois San. It's one of the great SDRs around. I can tell you that. So thanks for being here, everyone. Tomorrow, 2000 hours UTC, we will have our radio show. Might talk about pirates. If any pirates wants to broadcast our show, why not? And we'll have the usual radio and shortwave show. Hope everybody had enjoyed their show. It's been, we've been on for 3 hours and 30. Not bad. And see you tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks everybody for being here all the time. And thanks for those that donated. Welcome aboard, everybody. Always fun to have all of you great people. Guys and girls or whatever, because, I should say guys, girls, and aliens or something, because I don't want to offend no one anymore. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Love you all. And hey, Juan Amigo. Take care. Bye-bye, my friend.